let's jump into. Okay, let me do my beautiful thing. Oh God, here we go. We're gonna you're gonna piss off all the fucking red
You're
pillars.
pissing off all your MAGA fans and your
Uh,
dad. I had this shirt custom made, by the way.
that's perfect. It is a beautiful thing. Because
It
if
cost me
if they don't
$45.
see it, they just see I play, and it could be I
Yep.
play games. I play with myself. You don't know.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
everybody, welcome
It's
to
good to be back here.
yes, and this is our God. This will be our how many now? We've done
Well,
this is like
didn't we
seven.
start from like 2000?
Yeah, but I feel like we combined it a few years, like
Well,
2000.
we definitely did like 3 years in some
Yeah.
video. Yeah.
So yeah, we're this must be like the 10th video of these
10th
that we've
video,
done.
something like that.
But we're gonna be back. Well, we're back for 2024, and this is a big year in some ways for some genres, I think, especially RPGs, and then not so big for other genres. But I really am excited because I did play quite a few of the big games this year. And Robbie here has played even more than me, and we are going to
Yes.
discuss our favorite games of the year. Doing going through a list of a bunch of games on Metacritic, the highest rated ones, and go down and
Hmm.
usually stop around like the low 70s, 60s. And just talk about the games we played and then we pick our favorite game at the end. But we're going to start off with the highest rated games of this year. And number one rated is a game that, well, you know what? They're really three number one rated because they're all the same score. Um, so
Oh
we
yeah, they're all 94. Yeah.
yeah, we got Elden Ring, the expansion. What's it called? Elden Ring.
Shadow of the Earth Tree.
There we go. And then we have Astro Bot and Metaphor. Those are all rated 94, which is crazy to see three 94 rating games. I'll let you talk about Elden Ring first because you not only played it, you beat it. And then I'll talk about Metaphor. You played a little. I beat that. And but yeah, tell me about Elden Ring. Did it live up to the hype of the expansion world?
Oh yeah, I think it's arguably like the best expansion I've ever played.
Oh shit.
And that primarily has a lot to do with like it's basically the size of like a smaller From Software experience. Like maybe similar to like a Ninja Blade or something like that.
Wow.
I bet a lot of people don't remember that one. That was my first From Software game, and I believe yours too. We bought that off PlayAsia. Um,
Oh my God. Yeah.
Remember that? Yeah.
Was it Ninja Blade? Is that it?
Hmm. Yep.
Yes, yes, with all the QTEs and all that. Yeah.
That was before, yeah, they started before they came out with Demon Souls, because I think that came out in 2007.
Yeah,
It was
in
like
America it
a
might have
year
been.
before Demon Souls, something
Yeah.
like that, yeah. But yeah, I mean it's honestly fantastic. It's got that engaging lore that I like about Elden Ring. It's obviously it's not a full-fledged out like story like their other games. I would say like it's very rare where their games have like a full fleshed out story.
Yeah.
I would say I'd probably say like Sekiro probably has the one closest to that, and even that one is very open ended. Their stories are always like that, but anyways, this kind of goes into the stuff with Mikola, who was Millennia's twin brother. What's his name? Mikola the Young, something like that. They all have like nicknames, but nonetheless, I mean, it's great. It's got new incantations, it's got new spells, it's got new weapons, it's got new enemy types, it's got a whole new world and location. But it's got so many great high points for Elden Ring as a whole for me in the base game and this that I can't speak highly enough about it.
Well,
Um,
that's and so this was 40, right? So it was cheaper than Elden Ring.
I think it was 40 or 50, but it ended up being I think like over 20 hours, almost 30 hours, I
Wow.
think.
So it's
Yeah.
kind of like Cyberpunk's Phantom Liberty. Here it's about 20, 30 hours of
Yeah, and it's a whole new like map that basically takes place underneath the lands between. And it's kind of cool because they have this similar system that they had in Sekiro. If you remember in Sekiro, you would get like those what was it, the memories when you would beat a boss that would increase your attack power.
yeah.
This works in a similar way where they have shadow tree fragments. Shadow tree? I can't remember how it's said. It's some Irish type of name, but um, yeah, it works in a similar way. And I mean, like this is definitely like a harder area than the base game of Elden Ring. I mean, and these enemies fuck you up,
Yeah,
and
that
they
I
fuck
heard.
you up good, and they fuck you up good. But honestly, it's like that's what's so great about it. But it has some excellent boss fights. It's got some great lore, some fucking fantastic music. Some of my favorite music from them as a whole. Especially with Lady Trina, which or Saint Trina, actually, I think she's called. Just some amazing ethereal moments that were just some of my favorite moments of the year for gaming. So I definitely believe it, it belongs up there, but as we were just talking about before we started this, I mean, it's hard for me to put an expansion in the running for, a game of the year because, this wouldn't exist without outside of Elden Ring,
Yeah,
right? So I mean, it's hard for me to nominate or put into contention an expansion for a game of the year contender, but I definitely so I won't do it personally, but I definitely would understand why people would do that.
yeah,
So it's definitely one of the best things I've played all this year. And outside of that, like if it was a standalone game, which it definitely has every right to be with how big it has every right to be up there. So being number one, is perfectly fair in my opinion. And I also just love Elden Ring. Like they're not going to do anything else now after this. They may do an Elden Ring too. That would be cool to see because honestly, Elden Ring became one of my favorite games of all time, probably. I would say when I beat it, but I also beat it twice this year.
that is true. You
Um,
played the shit out of this game.
I really did. Yep. I beat it on my PC. So I originally beat it on my Xbox. I beat it there. Then I beat it on my PC this year. Then I bought it on PS5 and beat it on there this year, playing as Amy. And well, I made a character that looked like Amy. But so I beat it twice this year, and I beat the DLC, and I started the DLC on my PS5 character. So I mean, I played a shit ton of Elden Ring this year,
Well,
and
I mean, I think
it's great.
a lot of people would put the actual game, not even an expansion, as one of the greatest of all time. I think it's really
Yep.
good. I like Sekiro a little bit more, but I would say Elden Ring's probably my second favorite from them. It was a lot. I never beat it, but I had a lot of fun when I played it. Put like 30, 40 hours in,
Mm.
and I could see why people would put that. But I want to talk about a little game that I knew was going to be good. I didn't know it was going to be this good, and that is Metaphor. Um, Metaphor is created by the guys who did Persona 5 specifically, or the designer,
Atlus.
whatever head guy who does them. And I really enjoyed Metaphor more than I thought it would. It took the things that I really love about the Persona series, but made it a little bit more streamlined. Not so much focused on high school, not so much classroom stuff, and more focused on a band of people getting together to try to become a king to stop someone else from basically becoming a worse king. So it definitely has that political side to it that I liked, but it remains dark fantasy, which is super cool because I'm not a huge fantasy fan. So if it gets me into it, that's a big plus. So overall, I really, really like this game. I like the combat a lot. It was very quick paced, like Persona. I'd say the outside battle, like into the turn base, even worked really well.
Very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I had like no issues with most of this game, other than the fact that I have to say, I don't know if the party fully got me invested as much as something like Persona's party in 3, 4, 5, but I still really like the party here and I really like the story. And I'm not going to spoil it because Robbie's still playing it and a bunch of people still probably playing it, but the twist here actually caught me a little bit by surprise, which usually doesn't happen. I thought it was a
Usually
very
never happens
cool.
for you.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit, why didn't I see that coming? So this is definitely in my top five. It might be my number one once we go through this list, but definitely in my top five games because I was just blown away by it, really.
Yeah, I played about I'd say about 12 hours so far. I fell off of it just because you know how I am. I don't need to explain myself
A million
anymore.
other games came out.
Yeah, or I start playing old things. This is why I joined backlog so I can start tracking everything that I've played. It's a problem, but falling off of it had nothing to do again, like how it usually happens with me. It has nothing to do, I think, with its quality. There are some games I fall off of because I'm just not interested in them anymore.
Yeah,
But Metaphor definitely wasn't one of them. I think it's just because I go through spouts where I don't really want to invest myself heavily into a very story-rich game.
yeah,
So I'll end up playing something that's maybe a little more casual, like one of the games on this screen right now that we'll get to. Um, but I mean, from what I did play, like it's fantastic. It's an Atlas game, so it's got great writing, it's got engaging characters, it's got great music, it's got great combat. And they're long, and
yeah.
so they'll keep you entertained for a while. I mean, it took you what, 60 hours?
Yeah, I think it was like 62 or 63 hours
Yeah,
in the end, which is good for me because I love
person to
Persona,
JRPG. Yeah,
but fucking Persona 5 at 103 hours, I was really like tapping the fuck out at 100 hours. I was like, let's get to the fucking end.
it took me 105.
Yeah, and that was right after you played Witcher, or it was the
That was
reverse.
while I was playing Witcher.
That's fucking
Uh,
insane. I
Witcher took me 130.
That's
Uh,
nuts.
yeah.
But I will say, really enjoyed it. Another game I want to talk about. I don't know if you played this. Did you play Final Fantasy Rebirth or no?
I did not because I still have not beaten
Oh, the
the
remake.
one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Rebirth, some people are
I've
gonna,
heard decent things about it.
yeah, some people are gonna crucify me here.
Oh boy.
I loved the first half of Rebirth, but by the time I got to chapter 8, 9, there's like 13 chapters, it really started to drag for me. I think the idea of having these sections with bunch of like missions to do is cool, but really all the missions become the same. You go to a tower, you unlock it, you beat a couple of enemies, you in a record amount of time. Like it all becomes the same. And the world is beautiful. It's gorgeous to go through, but that's it. The story itself, the retelling of this event are pretty cool. Not in love with the twist at the end there, but we'll see where it lands. But for me, it's kind of a disappointment. It's still a good game. I'd still give it like a 7.5. I enjoyed it, but I have to say this is probably one of my biggest disappointments of the year. And there's one more I want to talk about, but it was definitely disappointing for me.
Do you,
Um,
what would you say were like the biggest gameplay changes from it, or didn't like I know it had that big open like world that was like
yeah.
kind of like I know the first one was kind of more streamlined. Um,
Yeah,
I
so
guess I'm
remake
curious what's different about it.
for me, I absolutely love remake, and I think that's the thing is some people didn't love remake because it's so linear and going forward. For me, I love that because I was engaged with the story. It's about a 30-hour experience. Rebirth is double, if not triple that length. And I just don't think that the story is able to keep me invested as much as I hope for. It could be because I played Final Fantasy VII to death when I was younger, so I know most of the story beats, and the ones that change, I'm not a huge fan of some of them. So we'll see. But overall, it's still a good game. I don't want to say like it's a garbage game. I don't believe in that type of shit unless I actually play a game that's garbage.
Yeah.
So it was a good game, just a disappointment. Still worth playing if you're a fan of Remake, but it could go either way. One of my friends absolutely loves Rebirth way more than Remake, but that's kind of what you deal with. Also, too many fucking mini games. Um,
I
but
love mini games.
no, no,
Even I
no.
played Super Party Jamboree this year.
No, 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 no. You'll see. If you ever get this, you'll see.
Yeah.
Okay, so most of these we haven't played, but there is one game you want to talk about. I just want to talk about real fast. Fuck the fact that Last of Us is on here. Just fuck that. I hate that. Okay, anyway.
What's wrong with that?
It's
It's a
so
remastered
stupid
version.
because these fucking remastered editions should not be on the fucking list of games that came out 2 years ago.
I
Um,
agree. It
I
actually came
hate
out
that
4 years ago.
for you. I hate it. Anyway, we're gonna skip most of these. Slay the Princess. I don't think Nia's played, but my wife played and she liked it.
Oh,
And then
I
I
haven't
never
even
even
heard of it.
heard of fucking Animal Well, or Satisfactory.
Animal Wells on my Steam list. That actually looks pretty good. It's a platformer.
Oh,
Satisfactory, I've not heard of, and I have not heard of UFO 50. It's kind of cool though. These games that are in the top, and I haven't even heard
yeah.
of them.
Tekken 8's garbage. Okay, so
Fuck no, I heard that was actually pretty good.
I'm joking. You don't know.
Garbage.
I get so much shit from Tekken fans because of my review years ago. They want to kill me.
Oh,
Like
that's
literally
right.
look
When
at
you
my
reviewed
comments.
Tekken, I think when you reviewed like Tekken 6, was it?
Yeah.
or
My
seven.
top comment is, I hope you fucking die the worst death possible, you piece of garbage human. That's my top comment with 200 likes. So that's how insane Tekken fans are. Fuck them.
Tekken fans are a different breed than like Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter fans.
There's
That's definitely for
there's
sure.
sickos, sick fucks. Okay, but
I
let's
think
talk. Sell me on this card game because everybody
Balatro.
in the world is playing this fucking game.
Well, we have about 6 minutes before we got to restart the Zoom. So,
Fuck! I fucking hate
but just
Zoom.
just just to kind of give you a little bit. Yes. So Balatro, that was the game I was referring to earlier when I was saying more casual experience. It's not
Oh yeah.
very just heavy story based, but anyways, um, Balatro basically works that you're creating poker hands, and it's run based, so it's a roguelike, roguelite. I just still can't remember the exact difference between
Oh no, it's
roguelike.
roguelike.
Is it roguelike?
I thought it was
Oh, it says
roguelite
roguelite.
was.
Yeah, so there's roguelite and there's roguelike,
What
which is
the
weird.
fuck? What
I
the?
I swear to God, I still don't really even know the difference. I completely forgot. But anyway, it's a roguelike, which is just basically, I think, a term that's very overused these days for its run based.
Yeah.
Um, so you basically start at the first ante, and there's 8 antes, and as you climb up the antes, which are basically, in each ante you have a small blind, just like in poker, and a big blind, just like in poker, and then you have the boss blind. You can choose to skip the small blind and the big blinds to earn something called a tag, and the tag could be anything like earn $25 to use in the shop when you defeat the boss blind. Double a tag. So if you skip a blind and you're opening a pack that contains like tarot cards, which are basically like buff cards or ability cards, you can double that if you have a double tag. But if you skip the blind, you can't access the shop after you complete the blind because it's kind of building around like what choices am I supposed to make? And then you have of course jokers, which the jokers are basically used as buff cards. So they're also there as multipliers for the score that you get. And they're also there. Well, they're there for multipliers, and then there's another thing that they do that I forgot. But they can do like 14 times, then you can do like 1.5 times. It's a little confusing. I don't know how to completely explain it. But anyways, you're basically building poker hands to earn chips. And depending on what blind you're doing, it could be like you have to earn 800 chips to pass this blind. And with how it works with poker hands, it starts as a pair and it goes all the way up to straight flush. I don't know why they didn't include royal flush in there, but they didn't. But for any reason, um,
And so
depending
it's
on
just regular cards, or is it like magical?
it's no, like it's poker cards.
Oh,
So
so
like and you can actually upgrade your playing cards. So like you can upgrade one of them to a glass card, which is whenever you play it to score in a poker hand, it'll actually times four your score of your hand. But then it has a 1 in 4 chance of breaking because it's a glass card.
that's
Then
cool.
you have like gold cards where if you make a playing card a gold card, if you keep it in your hand until you beat the round or the blind, you'll earn like $3, which you can use in the
Oh.
shop. So it's kind of like it's got a lot of really cool little uh what's the best way I can look to it? It's got a bunch of cool little like rules to it and different I guess abilities and stuff that you play around with, and it's really cool when you see a new Joker that has a cool new ability, and you're basically a lot of your you can basically build like a specific build for that run, so each run can feel different because say you get a Joker that's like um for every two pair that you play, it'll add a multiplication to this Joker hand so that every time you play a two pair, it keeps going up and up and up. So that as you continuously play more two pairs, you'll earn a higher score
Hmm.
for each hand that you play. And then you only play a certain amount of hands per blind, and you can discard up to 5 cards like a certain amount of times. So it's cool because it really makes you think of like, like what do I think is going to come next? What am I trying to build my build around? Am I trying to go for flushes? Am I trying to go for straights? Am I trying to go for two pairs, three of a kinds, full houses? But it's basically just you're trying to beat the boss blind on the ante and move to the next ante.
Ah.
And then what's cool about it is whenever you finish that, if you beat it, like I think I've beaten all 8 antes twice now. If you beat that with a specific deck, then you unlock a stake. and then the stake is like it basically adds like modifiers to your runs. So and they go up really high. I think there's like 10 stakes or something like that. And for basically for each stake that you get higher, the blinds get higher and higher. So like the first blind could be like you need 1,000 chips to beat the boss blind.
Yeah.
Where if you're just starting off your run, it's going to be difficult because if you play a straight, you only get like 200 chips.
Yeah.
So it's a really cool little game. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I'm still enjoying the hell out of it. It's a great Steam Deck game. You can also get it on your phone. It's on the App Store. I'm sure it's on the Google Play Store. But definitely one of the best games I've played all year. And
Wow.
I don't know if it'll necessarily win Game of the Year for me, but I definitely think it deserves all the praise it's been getting because it's definitely I think the best indie game I've played this year. That's for sure.
Destiny 2, fuck it. We're not talking about this garbage ass series. Let's talk about uh
That's the that's actually the last Destiny DLC, I believe, though,
oh good. Maybe
isn't
they'll
it?
stop. Okay, so Horizon. Um, I already talked
Forbidden
about it when
West.
it first came out, and as you know, I'm disappointed with Forbidden
Forbidden
World.
West. Forbidden
Yeah.
West.
Forbidden World.
Forbidden World.
I kind of like Final Fantasy. I don't think it's a bad game. I think it's pretty good. The combat is as good, if not better. My major issue with that is it's just the story was so dull. Like
So
a
like a
Dragon.
Dragon, Infinite Wealth. You
Yeah.
played this. This came out in January. You loved it.
Yes, I not only loved it, it was the first game I beat this year, like for games that came out this year.
Hmm.
And oh no, sorry, Pal World was my first, but this would be
Came out
my
like right
second.
before your birthday.
Um, eh, was this? Yeah, it was before my birthday. That's right. Jimmy
January
bought this.
26th. Yeah.
My friend Jimmy, who has been on this channel as well, has bought this game for me for my birthday, and I absolutely loved it. Really, just one of my favorite RPGs, maybe ever. I have very minor flaws here or there. I thought some like a lot of the side missions in this I did not like that much. And I thought the Pokemon like mini game, which is capturing like bums and strippers and using them as Pokemon was interesting, but it
What?
got
That sounds
yeah,
great.
it's insane. I thought the dating mini game was fun, but the rest I can live without. But the class system in this, the combat, taking what worked in seven but making it quicker, better, and the storyline. If you're a big fan of the first six, which is a lot of story, you get the swan song basically for that main character, and then Ichiban definitely gets a story pushed to make him much even more interesting, which I already liked him in seven, but I loved him in this. So really good, kind of melodramatic in the best way possible. And it's, this series hardly ever misses, and when it misses, it's still good. This one, though, absolutely my favorite in the entire Yakuza series. And
Really?
yeah, and seven was my favorite before this, and then I would say probably zero or one, but this was phenomenal. Definitely my favorite, one of my favorite games of the year, and definitely in my top five as well, up there with Metaphor uh, and uh, and Castlevania is a game I'm playing now, which is taking the 3DS games, the three of them, and putting them in a collection. You can get it right now on sale for $15, which is fucking ridiculous.
Oh
These
wow.
games are like 8 to 10 hours, but they're great, fun. A little bit of RPG elements because you kill things, level up, and all that. So I personally am enjoying it. I played these when I was, when I had the 3DS. So I was in my early 20s, I think, or even earlier. And yeah, they're great, and they do a good job with the touchscreen. If you have a Steam Deck or an Alloy, any of those type of handhelds, this is the type of game that I love playing on them. So yeah, I would definitely recommend this for people who like Castlevania, but maybe don't want to go all the way back to the old ones. They want more modern 3DS ones. This would be pretty good. It's not my favorite game. I don't know if I give it an 89, but I'm only on the first of the three, and I say it's pretty damn solid, a lot of fun, and a good like in the bed before bed type game for like 30-minute sprints.
Nice. Can you go back up real quick? Sorry.
Yeah,
I want to see if I should add anything to my list.
well, you have this guy.
What to the very top? I guess we didn't talk about Astro, but we never played it. But that's
Yeah,
definitely on my list to play.
yeah, I didn't want to talk about because I haven't gotten to play it. Now my daughter absolutely fucking loves Astro Bot, the one that came with the
He's adorable.
playroom. She has
Yeah.
played this game, dude. If you look at my PlayStation, it's like 29 hours. She just she can't get enough of this little bastard. She knows everything about him. She's always excited when you first turn it on. He's stuck in the controller, and she gets so mad if she doesn't get to like push him out. She just loves this character. So I do want to get this for her, but for 8 hour game for $60, I just can't.
Is it 8 hours?
Yeah, my friend told me
That's
it's like
really
8 to 10 hours.
that's really crazy considering that like it just won Game of the Year at the Game Awards and it's won a lot of other Game Awards for how short it is. But like, I guess it really speaks to the quality of a platformer that it is. Because I even thought the one that came with the PS5, it was Astro's Playroom.
Yeah,
That was a great platformer.
yeah,
Like just
no,
by itself, like it was a tech demo, but it was a great platform. It was well designed. It was fun. It
gorgeous.
had great music, gorgeous looking. It
Yeah,
it it really showcased the DualSense really well, even though I think the DualSense is a little overrated.
yeah, it's
Um,
not
but
great.
um, but yeah, I mean, I definitely want to check it out when it goes on sale. But yeah, like you said, I mean, $60 for that
60,
price.
and it's not like I'm into the whole like if you pay you want 100 hours. No, one of my favorite games on here was only like 25 hours. I'll get to it. So it's just at $60 right now for a platformer when I know this is going to be 30 by like March. Let's be for
Yeah,
real.
yeah.
But I hear it's phenomenal.
I would
Quality
I would
wise,
even say like I would even say I'd pay like 20 or 30 for it,
yeah,
even 20. So,
yeah.
but I definitely want to check it out. But I didn't know that Sailor was interested in Astrobot.
Oh
That's good to
yeah,
know though.
Astrobot and Kirby are her two favorite platform by far. It's not even a competition. And then some other ones she's playing. She has the Miiu, so she's playing all these other like old Game Boy Advance games like fucking Disney Princesses Galaxies.
I love
uh,
it.
but yeah, no, Kirby and Astrobot are her favorite. And she really likes Sackboy Adventure. We just got that a couple of weeks ago. But she doesn't like playing that by herself. And I gotta say, that fucking game is hard, yo. Maybe I'm just old, but this just kicking my ass. I can't get past some of these levels. But anyway, I didn't want to talk about it because I didn't get to play it. But if it's anything like the Playroom one, I mean, I'm expecting greatness. I just haven't played it.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, the Playroom was so popular that
yeah,
they made this. I mean, to
which is
my
smart.
knowledge, yeah.
Yeah, because he's kind
So
of like an
I think that's
icon
it for
now.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's basically I think Sony's new mascot.
yeah,
Because if you think about it, they haven't had a mascot for a long time. So
this be
um,
true.
that's cool to see. But yeah, I definitely would check it out. But anyways, I just want to talk about that because I know we didn't really cover that.
Yeah, and so I do have. I know you're writing them down. I have two written down.
I actually haven't written them down. That's why I wanted to go back up
Oh,
and
oh,
see.
okay. I
Um,
have Metaphor on mine for sure, so I'm gonna put that in there. Metaphor and Yakuza Infinite Wealth are definitely in my top 5 or 6 so far. Now, is there
I
any other game that
I
here that I
think
don't think we played?
I think I am gonna add Balatro.
Do it. I
Yeah.
mean, even if you don't pick it as number one, the fact that it's in your top 5 or 6, that's crazy. So
And
what the fuck is
maybe
this?
I will end up making an exception for Shadow of the Earth Tree. But oh
Yeah.
wait, go back. Oh
Oh,
wait, oh.
what the fuck is
Oh,
this?
what is this?
Eight critic
It's an anime
reviews. See,
game.
this is also like, if you got less than
It's a
10
Switch
fucking
game.
reviews, I don't think you should do that. Like,
You think you should have like at least 30 to be able to qualify for
I
top
mean,
10, whatever.
at least 15. Let's make it a, well, whatever. Anyway.
Three.
Oh, here we go. Ho, here we go.
You weren't kidding. This was a big year for JRPGs.
Atlas, look, fucking Atlas with 3 games in one fucking year. Now, no, actually, I'm sorry. Persona 3 is not a remaster; it's a remake.
Yeah.
And then you got Shin Megami, 5. Was it 5 or 6? Which, you know what? I gotta be honest. I haven't 5. I haven't played this, but my friend is playing it right now. He said it's fucking great. So I gotta get this game.
What's the major difference between Shin Megami Tensei and Persona?
So Shin Megami is
Because don't
Tensei.
they have like the same creatures and all that?
So similar creatures. The biggest difference between it is Shin Megami is usually darker. It's mostly all adults, and its focus is collecting monsters. Whereas
Like Pokemon.
Persona, you could collect all the different personas, but really its focus is like the school life and the sim life and all that shit. So more focus on the world and catching them and the gameplay, whereas Persona is more story driven with the gameplay as kind of, in my
Okay.
opinion, like the second half. It's so funny that these are 87% because it's like what do you like more is it's you get to choose what you want this year.
Yeah.
So Persona 3
That is cool
Reloaded.
to see. Yeah. I still need to check out Persona 3.
Yeah, I think you'll love Persona 3. As a Persona
I sure
5
will,
fan,
yeah.
I think you'll love 3. The remake basically makes what worked in 3, but it is modernized to make it like it's
To make it
basically
like
Persona
five.
5. Yeah.
Yeah.
I personally think the cast of characters are some of the best, if not my favorite. It's a hard toss between this and 4,
I
but
feel like I remember you telling me that three was your favorite because of the story, because
the
of how
story
dark it
is the
was.
best of all
Yeah.
three of them for me. It's the darkest. It's the most fucked up. Has the most oh my god deaths. So I thought this worked the best, but and it's also shorter than the other two, which is a big bonus for
Okay.
me. You know, my thing with Persona 3, this is the fourth time I'm playing Persona 3. I'm playing it on
Oh
easy
wow.
this time because I don't want to deal with, you know, the hard bosses, which is what Atlus is known for these games. But it is still great. The voice acting's great. One thing I like, the social links in this are fully voice acted. I can't believe it.
Nice.
That's a big plus for me. Which I'm
Yeah,
really sad Metaphor isn't. I don't
that
know
was kind
why.
of a bummer for me for Persona 5,
Yeah,
because I loved doing those. I loved hanging out with my friends and
yeah. This is the best part of the game. How are you not gonna
yeah,
have that voice acted?
which is crazy because in the beginning I couldn't wait to like for it to become night so I could like engage in the combat more.
Yep.
But as I started engaging more with like the cast of characters in 5, I'm just like I can't wait to like hang out with my friends again. I can't wait to
Yeah.
fucking go on another date with Makoto,
I
like
always I always tell people with Persona, you got to give it a few hours because it is a slow burn, but
yep.
once you're in, you're in.
You told me. You
Yeah.
told me you're like, give it about 5 hours. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay.
Yeah.
And around that 5, 6 hour mark, maybe seven, is when you're like, okay, I,
Yeah.
I see why people love it.
Um,
As far as other ones on this list, I have been playing Indiana Jones.
okay.
Uh, um, I don't know if I can add it to my list yet because I've only played it like 4 hours. I did just play more of it yesterday. It's really cool because it's set up like an actual like Indiana Jones movie.
Movie. Yeah, that's what I
Um,
hear.
but it's fantastic. I mean, my fucking dude, like Troy Baker. I mean, he fucking kills this shit, of
Yeah,
course.
well,
He literally got an endorsement from Harrison Ford, like on stage. But he does. He sounds just like a young Harrison Ford.
that's
He's
awesome.
he's excellent. It's mocapped well. The lip syncing is a little off here and there, but I mean, it looks great. It runs great on PC if you turn off the ray tracing. It took me 3 hours to realize that.
So
Um,
that's odd.
the
Oh well, yeah, because sometimes it's
the ray tracing, I mean, it has full path traced ray tracing in this. But man, it's fucking rough if you
rough.
turn it on. But if you turn I've maxed out all the settings and I just turned off the ray tracing and I got a solid 70 with
Wow.
DLSS. So it looks great, it runs well. The combat's actually really fun. How you can literally like pick up a fucking broom or a hammer or a frying pan or like a fucking wine bottle and just start hitting people with it. And it's really satisfying too, like when you fucking hit a dude, knock his ass out, and the weapon breaks and you just like throw it away. Also, something I really love to do is just like beating the shit out of someone with like a club and then just throwing it at them and then it breaks.
That's pretty
Um,
cool.
it's got like a really satisfying first person combat system. Like you can use the whip to pull guys towards you or to disarm them. Like it's got a really engaging first person combat system, which I
Sweet.
did not expect. And I think a lot of people didn't expect it to be as good as it is, but it's by Machine Games, the same guys who did Wolfenstein.
Oh, okay.
Um,
That's why it's
or
probably
same
good
team rather.
quality. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean and I love both those games, Wolfenstein 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So I mean I definitely think it's worth playing. It's on Game Pass. I got Game Pass to play it, so I mean it won't really cost you much to check it
Yeah.
out, but I've heard it's probably about 20 to 30 hours from my understanding,
Hmm.
depending on what you do. So it's not too long, but I mean, it's great. It looks great. It runs well. It's got great music. So I would definitely say it's worth checking out. I can't add it to my list because I haven't played it enough.
Yeah. Out of the rest of the games here, I have not played, but I'm interested in, except for Dragon's Dogma. But
Silent Hill.
Silent Hill 2, I'm very interested in playing. Prince of
Me too.
Persia, I'm actually really interested as well. I heard a lot of good things.
Yeah,
And
I heard a I heard a lot of good things about it as well, but unfortunately I heard they shut down that studio,
yeah, well,
which is a
yeah.
shame because apparently it didn't sell that as expected to sell.
I think it's hard, you know, with platforming action games really, these days, but
Yep.
I am interested in playing it. And Dragon's Dogma 2, the only other game on here I really had any interest in. I
Oh
did
yeah. Yeah.
play about 20, I think it was like 24 hours when I stopped. So I didn't beat it. I got into like the second major area, and very fun, but also it is very, very, very time consuming. Kind of like Baldur's Gate 3, that you have to
Yep.
invest a ton of time. And while I enjoyed the game, I wasn't like fully invested in the characters or the story. So I enjoyed it, but when I got to it, I was like, you know what? I'm good. I played it. I had a good time, but it's not going to keep me engaged much longer than this. It also has a lot of technical issues,
It's
like
on
it's
PC. Yeah.
sluggish and stuff. Yeah. So overall though, it was a good time. It was very enjoyable. It's not in my top five, but it probably would land in like maybe like spot 10 around there for the year. Uh and did you play Silent Hill 2? I know you bought it. Did you play it or not?
I played it. Rather, I bought it. I haven't played it yet. I wanted to get it when it was on sale because I
Oh,
am
okay.
interested in seeing it because I never played Silent Hill 2, and I know a lot of people
So good.
regard it as, I know some people regard it as the best horror game ever made.
I'd say it's in top
Um,
10 or 15 for me.
yeah,
It's
I would say
really
like I've heard like Resident Evil 4 and Silent Hill 2, like
yeah.
those are the
Silent
two.
Hill 2 story is just so fucking good. And there's multiple endings, but to me, no matter what ending you get, it's good. But there's some endings that actually I had to look up after to see, like, to fully understand. And once I got it, I was like, and so I love those type of endings.
For
So
sure.
good
Yes,
game.
I'll definitely check it out because I've heard it was actually very well done, which is surprising for Konami and Bloober Team because I know a
Yeah,
lot of
ew.
people were anxious whenever they heard it was Blooper Team.
Yeah,
But yeah, I definitely will check it out because I've never played Silent Hill 2. I've always wanted to experience it. I've never been a Silent Hill guy, so I'm definitely interested in seeing it. But Prince of Persia, I am interested in it as well. Probably when it goes on sale for like 20, maybe
yeah.
15.
Actually,
I think,
it's on sale right now for 20.
oh, is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
I know. That's why I was thinking of
Um,
picking it up.
it looks great. Like the combat looks competent. Like the art style looks cool.
Yeah,
Of course you had a bunch of idiots like being like, it's woke, and then shitting all over it when it came out, and they're like, see, that's why they closed the studio. Go woke, go broke. Sorry.
yeah. Or just didn't sell well.
Yeah, we're just didn't sell well because it's a very niche genre.
Yeah,
It's like 2D platformers aren't that popular anymore.
yeah.
But yeah, I definitely want to check it out, for sure. And Sons of the Forest, I did pick up when that was on sale. That's a sequel to The Forest, which is a pretty cool like first person, kind of
Survival.
open world, yeah, like horror game,
Yeah,
where you're basically like building a camp and a base and all that, and it's kind of like the story's being told to you through micro moments and all that. But definitely, I've heard it's better than the first one. It looks gorgeous, so. But yeah, I definitely will check that out as well. I own that. I bought a lot of games this year I haven't played because you know me. But I have them now.
that's true.
Uh,
Explain 'em.
but Dragon's Dogma 2, I probably played about 8 hours. I think about 7 or 8 hours. From what I played, I did really enjoy. But again, it's a fucking curse with me. This is why I need to track everything that I'm playing. I start playing other things. But as I told you, I think I told you this last week, it's overwhelming because it's like we have such a big backlog of games that came out from 2 years ago that you
Yeah,
start playing those. It's like I feel like I'm 2 years behind,
yeah.
or even multiple years behind that I won't get to the games that came out in 2024, all of them until like 3 years later.
Well, so far I think I played so far all the games we talked about. I think I played five,
Yeah,
and one of them was
exactly.
fucking remastered. So,
Yeah, like
um,
I honestly feel like I played a lot more older games this year. While I did play enough, I think newer games. This is definitely probably a more quieter year for me. But Dragon's Dogma 2, like I did really enjoy. I love the gameplay and the combat and the
yeah,
exploration and all that. All that stuff's great. It's a big improvement from the first game, which I like because I liked the scope of the first game in terms of like traveling the world with your friends or other party members. Um, I like the um, I like the system with what they're called, partners, companions.
companions.
There's a
Yeah,
there's like a certain word for them in Dragon's Dogma 2.
pawns.
Pawns, yeah, thank you. I like the pawn system a lot, especially in this. They definitely improved it with
Yeah,
being
it's
able to
really
like
good in this one.
to
Yeah,
go into that world and like find other players' pawns and like recruit them. I thought that was super cool. But it's great. But like you said, I honestly stopped playing it because of technical issues. Just the same with Hogwarts Legacy last year. I really enjoyed both those games, but I had to fall off because like the technical issues were really glaring for me. And
yeah,
I think I've just become a PC snob that I'm just like I don't want to buy this on console when I can play it on, a PC. So,
Yeah,
but I would definitely check it out. I'll definitely go back to it.
yeah. All right,
So,
let's go to what the fuck? What the fuck?
World of Warcraft.
No, Horizon.
That's the remaster. That's
What?
what I'm playing right now.
Why is it fucking out this year? It didn't come out on PC like forever ago.
The remastered? No, the remastered just came out.
Wait, they
This is the
fucking released the original and then the remastered?
yeah.
The
I th-
remaster came out on like PS5 like 4 years ago.
it's no, this just came out on PS5 and PC.
What the fuck? All right, anyway.
This is it is it's the remaster of the complete edition.
Oh, I don't understand. Okay, anyway.
It's
Uh
it's it's just a remaster of the game. It didn't. I think they did a PS5 update for it, but it wasn't a remaster. Kind of like Last of Us Part Two. They did a PS5 update for it, but it wasn't a remaster.
oh, okay. Well, we talked
But
about
but
fucking
that
Horizon.
but that's what I'm playing right now, and it's great, and it
Yeah.
looks good. So
Okay, so I don't know any of these other fucking games. I heard of Frostpunk, but
I have heard of that. I've heard, yeah. You
I
want to
don't
talk about the World of Warcraft uh expansion?
no, no.
I haven't played World of Warcraft
Uh,
expansion since like
yeah, the only
Cataclysm.
game I know here is Ace Attorney, and that's just a re-release of the 3DS games. Same thing with Apollo. Okay, let's just go down to here.
Alan
There's
Wake
a
2.
lot.
Oh no, you're going too fast. Oh, I'm gonna play that probably next week.
Batman.
Yeah.
So I played about 2 hours of this, maybe. It's pretty fun. Definitely a workout. Definitely, you feel like Batman. It's it's very much just like an Arkham City or Arkham Knight light, but it works. It's fun. It's cool. Um, it's hard for me to play long because of the combat because you got to move like left to right and turn a lot. But it's enjoyable. It's the first meta quest game I played, so it's kind of cool to see that on here. But yeah, it's cool. It's cool. It's like a cool, fun game. But the two games I want to really, the three games I really want to talk about are here. One game I didn't play, but everybody keeps telling me I must play is 1000X Resist. I don't know
Where's
if you
that?
heard
Oh,
this
there it
game.
is. No, I don't think I have actually.
So many people have told me I got to play this game.
Hmm.
Maybe because it's story driven. It's supposed to be like 15 hours, so it's not too long. It's on sale, but it's a very highly rated, obviously 84%. It's in the top 100 games of the year. Um, and I've heard nothing but good things, so I do want to check it out. Same thing with Dragon Quest III Remake. I'm so happy to hear that it's good. I absolutely loved these games growing up. I've done
I heard that was
numerous
excellent.
remakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the only reason I haven't got it yet is because I really want 1 and 2 remake that's coming out next year first.
Yep.
I like to play things in order, even though they have no correlation. You can play any of them in any order. And then the game I want to talk about, my Daybreak,
Tetris
the
Forever.
Legend of
Diablo 4,
fucking
Vessel of Hatred.
no, I don't know what the fuck that is. The Legend of Heroes Trails Through Daybreak. This is absolutely one of my favorite surprises of the year. Um,
Yeah, users think it's mixed or average.
Yeah, user reviews don't mean shit. But
He
that
gave
is
it a
tough.
3. True Scoring gave it a 3. Worst game in the series.
Where do you see that?
Worst True Scoring right there under
Non-tactical.
latest user review.
That's not true. Shut up, boy! Okay, so Daybreak, this definitely moves in more direction of action
This is the
gameplay.
game you've been talking about when you say Daybreak. I'm sorry. I tried looking this up recently. I'm like, what is he talking about? Daybreak? I don't know.
Yeah,
He just
it's
keeps calling it Daybreak. I go on Steam. I'm like, I don't see anything called that.
I'm too lazy to say this long fucking name, but it's as someone who has now played the entire series, which is a very long series. I spent all year catching up on this fucking
Dude,
series.
you played like all of these
All of
games.
them. Finally, this is it. This is the newest one, and then number two comes out February. Very, very fucking good game. This is one of my favorite in the
It's
series. I will be doing a tier ranking, so I'm not going to talk too much about it, but absolutely one of my favorite cast of characters in any RPG ever. The combat really cool, really solid, very fun. And the story, despite some of the side stories getting a little boring, the main story was really good and great fucking villains. So yeah, one of my favorite games of the year. Possibly my favorite. We'll talk
is it
about
turn based?
So it's a mixture. It's kind of like Metaphor, where there's the outside combat that you can do action, and then you can go into turn base. But it's
Okay,
it's
cool.
it's moving turn base. So when it's your turn, you can move around the field and do attacks, kind of
Oh,
like
like
Dragon
Final Fantasy
Quest.
13.
Uh, no, more like if you played. Pretty much the thing I could think of most is like Dragon Quest 10. Was it 10? Yeah, or
I don't
11.
think I played that.
Dragon Quest 11. So you can move around the field to position yourself, but it's and then you use turn base. So it's really good. It's absolutely one of my favorite games of the year. So those
Hmm.
three I just wanted to talk about because I didn't play Diablo yet. Um,
Um,
I don't know what this is, and I
that's
don't.
just that's a Diablo DLC. You don't have to worry
Oh,
about that.
okay, then fuck it.
And just so you know, I don't think Diablo's worth playing, if I'm being
Oh,
honest.
oh shit,
And that's honestly just after playing Path of Exile 2,
the
to
much
be
better
honest.
game.
I which I think is a like 10 times better
It's interesting. We don't see that on
ARPG.
here.
I think it'll be on there. It's also an EA right now, so it might
Oh,
not
okay.
qualify. It's kind of weird how EA games don't really qualify, which I guess makes sense because they're counted as incomplete. But wait, go back up, go back up.
Oh,
Um,
do you
so
know these games?
no, I was just gonna say I'm looking forward to playing Batman.
Oh,
You got a MetaQuest 3S a couple months ago.
yeah, I
Um,
got it about 2 months ago. Yeah,
and I'm gonna be picking up Quest 3 on Tuesday.
it's pretty good. It's a good showcase of what the
Mhm.
Quest 3 can do, which is always, I think, important for a game to be able to just do it in like I think it's like 8 hour game, but it's good to be that length for it to you get used to it. Uh,
Well, I know most VR games aren't that long anyway. I think like Asgard's Wrath 2 is like one of the longest ones. I think that's like 20 hours or something.
yeah, that one I hear is
Um,
pretty long. Yeah,
I don't know why, like, since I've been watching so many more VR videos over the past few months, I don't know why people shit on Meta. Because it's like, yes, they're like a major corporation, which, whatever. Not great. But I mean, they've honestly poured billions of dollars into the VR market. And it's like, if they continue to do that, that just means that it's going to breed more competition and it'll just want to make the market better. So I figured that's
because
a good
people
thing.
will bitch about any corporation. That's just what they gotta do. They're fucking babies, little baby bitches. All
Yeah,
right,
but I'm looking forward to trying. I just want to say that. I also don't know what Tetris Forever is, but I'd like to check it out.
which one?
Tetris Forever and Raven's Watch.
Oh, Tetris Forever. Yeah, yeah, I know you like Tetris. Okay,
Love
so
Tetris.
that's number 72. So let's see what finishes up the 100th or the first 100 games of the year. Okay, so um,
Kind of quiet, honestly. I feel like we haven't had any real bangers come out.
I absolutely know none of these games right here. Not
Um,
not a single one.
so that's Red Dead Redemption
Well, I know that one.
on on PC.
Yeah, I'm not gonna count that because it's fucking like 15 years old.
I bought it.
You're the
I
fucking problem. This is why they keep releasing these fucking games.
honestly, I just bought it because I wanted to play it on my Steam Deck.
Oh
So,
yeah, well it's got to work. If two works on there, then it's got to work.
it actually runs really well. It runs pretty well, and I think I've played probably about 6 hours on the Steam Deck. I mean that game is still great. I enjoy it. But yeah, $50 right out the gate, I think is an issue. But
Yeah, that's
uh,
that's a
I
whole nother fucking
I
video.
probably I probably should have waited.
Yeah,
But
fuck
anyways,
Rockstar and it's fucking nah. All right.
I don't
Any
know
other
any of these
game
other
on here?
games.
You know,
Age of Mythology, I think I've heard of.
I never heard of any of this shit. Dead Rising, which I heard was actually pretty good, but I don't like the first one that much.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah, I
Oh
don't,
yeah, that's like the remake they did. Yeah.
yeah. It was a
EA
remaster,
Sports.
but it fucking looks like a remake.
Yeah.
Kind of like Mafia. Like it looks like a brand new game, which is kind
The
of weird.
Mafia. I don't know if you played the Mafia remake yet, but it's very good.
Yeah, I know it's on sale too for $7. It's like saying
Oh,
just
you,
fucking buy me.
you can get the fucking trilogy like for $10,
Yeah, but I
like or
fucking
something. It's
hate
crazy.
I fucking hate two.
I know you hate Mafia too.
Yeah, and three is okay.
Three's okay. It's got good combat, but the story's not great.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Here
Oh,
we
here we
go,
go.
baby.
Here we
Here
go.
we
Now we're turning
go.
up
Here we
two
go.
games. Two
Okay,
games that
so
are in my contenders.
V Rising, I've heard a lot of good things about, but I didn't play it yet.
I've had my eye on it since it's
Yeah,
from
me
an
too.
EA. It
It's
looks
like
really
it's
cool.
like there, but I'm like, do I want to spend money? Um,
Yeah.
but let's talk about two games. One I played and one and you played both of these.
Hmm.
So Helldivers 2. I'm gonna just straight out say I think it's a really fun co-op game. I think it's super overrated. Like people say
Really?
this is like one of the greatest co-op games of all time. I don't agree with that.
Super overrated. That's the
Super
first I've
overrated.
heard.
Like people are like claiming this is like revolutionary gaming for the co-op. I don't think it's that. It's basically EDF but much better. That's what it is.
That's
you're in an
fair. Yeah.
area, you have objectives, and you kill aliens and then survive. That's exactly what EDF is, except better graphics, better controls, and much more production value. Saying that, it was only $40, and that's a fucking good price for
Win.
this type of game.
Yep.
Um, so I enjoyed my time with it. I play with you. I play with Jimmy. I think it has a nice challenge to it. I think it looks good. I think it definitely can make your blood run at the end when they're all coming at you and you're just trying to wait for the fucking thing to take you away,
It's kind of fun
extract
though.
you. So I think it's a really good game, and it might even hit my top 15 for sure, or maybe even top 10. It might hit. It might be 10. With Dragon's Dogma, like those two are like up there, but it's not to me. Is not in the top five for the year, at least for me.
It's kind of crazy that it's this low on the list. I honestly thought it'd be rated higher. This and
Well, of
Warhammer,
course,
so that's
fucking
kind of
Red Dead has
surprising.
to be above it because fucking
Yeah.
remastered from 25 years ago.
It's not. It's. I don't even think it's a remaster, which is crazy. They
It's
just
just
put it
they
out on
just put it on
PC. They just put it out on PC because it never came out on PC. That game came out in 2010.
fucking
Um,
scumbag Rockstar and their fucking schemy ways.
what's What's funny is when it was announced. I remember whenever everyone was freaking out because it was like $50 the price, and they were like, and they were on the earnings call, and like I think someone from IGN asked them like, "Do you guys think this is a good value for like a 14-year-old game?" And they're like, "Well, we want to remind everyone that this also comes with the critically acclaimed Undead Nightmare DLC."
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah. That's why people are buying it for the fucking zombie fucking DLC that everybody's been fucking
And it was actually pretty good. I will say that. Is it worth $50? No. I bought it. I probably shouldn't have. It was an impulse buy.
should have emulated that piece of shit game. Okay, anyway,
Yeah.
let me hear what you think of Helldivers, but you already talked a lot about Warhammer to me. I know you told me you really
Yeah.
enjoyed that.
Yep.
That's also co-op. So
Mhm.
interesting that the two co-op games are really the same score.
Yeah.
But yeah, what did you think of these two?
Well, first I want to say that I tried Black Ops 6 and
Garbage.
I I I think Call of Duty's fucking boring as shit now.
It
I
was
don't
always.
No, I don't think so. I think Call of Duty 4 is a great game.
Yeah,
Call of
that's
Duty
20
4,
years ago.
Modern Warfare 2, those are great games. Even the Modern Warfare remake I told you about that came out in 2019, that's an excellent Call of Duty game. But fucking I don't know what it is. I feel like these games get more and more boring
Yeah,
because
because
it's just
they're the same thing.
they can only do so much. It's just like big explosions, like set pieces, nuclear weapons. I just feel like it's lost any kind of charm that it had because like at least Call of Duty like on Gen 7 it had like a lot of different elements to it. You had World at War, you had Call of Duty 4, you had the Black Ops series when it just started. Like I feel like there's a lot more variety. Whereas now it's just I feel like Call of Duty's just like the same rehash shit
Uh,
with the same skin. It's just different weapons. But I was going to play it on Game Pass because people were saying, "Oh, the campaign's great. This is the best Call of Duty campaign in years." I played that shit for 30 minutes. I'm like, I'm fucking falling asleep.
yeah,
I
they
can't stand
suck.
it.
They suck.
Yeah,
Bring back Splinter Cell.
yeah, really. It's a different company,
I
but
know,
yes.
but I want Splinter Cell. Fuck these Black Ops bitch.
I would much rather have more Splinter Cell games than Call of Duty games.
That's right. That's right.
But they are remaking the first one, so I'd like to see how that looks. But
Yeah, I just
anyways,
want
yeah.
any fucking Splinter. I'll take a fucking remastered. Just give me
Yeah.
something.
I would love if they remaster those first three games. Even
Yeah.
though Pandora Tomorrow I heard wasn't that great, I would
Eh,
love to see that.
yeah, I
Uh,
just want to live again in Sam's world. Be
Agreed.
part of his soul. Okay. So what
Sam
about
Fisher is
these?
way better than any Call of Duty perk. But anyways,
Splinter Cell
Helldivers
3?
2, huh?
What'd you say?
I said I think Sam Fisher is better than any Call of Duty like protagonist.
Splinter Cell 3 is not only one of the greatest games of all time, but it shits on every fucking Call of Duty. I will stand
Chaos
on
Theory,
a
yeah.
motherfucking yeah, cast theory. I'll stand on a motherfucking mountain and shout that shit. Fuck Modern Warfare and its bitch ass story. Anyway, all right, you go with.
Well, it's not that Modern Warfare had a great story as much as that it had like a lot of great gameplay to it, in my
Nah,
opinion.
it's all the same.
Anyways, yeah, Helldivers 2 I had a lot of fun with. I think Gion said this is his game of the year. Which I'll be honest, a lot I feel like I've heard a lot of people say like this is a great year for games. So I'm like, I feel like it hasn't been a great year for new games, in my opinion, but it's been a great year for me for playing so many different ones, particularly
Yeah.
ones that came out in the last couple of years. Um, and I played the shit out of Elden Ring again. But anyways, yeah, Helldivers 2 is a great game. I don't think it's like extremely overrated from what you said. I think that it is kind of overrated in the sense that I think you see a lot of like modern gamers, which when I say that I mean like people that are younger than us that have been like, this is amazing. And it's like, man, this is how like four-person co-op games like used to be,
Yeah.
10 plus years
That's my
ago.
thing. We played this before. It's a
It's
modernized
just
version.
modernized, and
Yeah.
and that's great. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Like it's incredibly well made. It's greatly animated. It's got great weapons. It's got great comedy. It's got good feeling stratagems. With the airstrikes and all of that. The explosions look great. Graphically, it's great. It runs great on PC. I have no issues with all of that, but it does. Of course, it doesn't have a main story. It's meant to be played in multiplayer, so you can't really play it by yourself. You can, but I don't know why you would, because I think that sucks all the fun, or at least
Yeah.
not all the fun, but maybe the majority of the fun out of it. Um, but it's fun to play. The times that I played it, like with you and Jimmy, or like I don't think I've played with Jimmy, but the times I played it like with you or with Gion, like it's been a lot of fun, and I've really enjoyed it. And it can get hard at times. So it is definitely one of the best games I've played this year. It's on my list, because I do think that it's a contender. I
Yeah.
don't think it'll necessarily win, but I definitely think it still belongs on my list.
Okay.
But yeah, it's definitely one of the best games I've played this year. But yeah, like you said, it is overrated in the sense that like we've seen something like this before. It's just modernized,
Yeah.
and
And how
but it's
about
built well.
Warhammer?
Warhammer, I think this one actually I think like could win Game of the Year for me.
Really?
Yes, and
Wow.
I say that because I played Warhammer 1, or rather Space Marine 1 right before this, as you know. That game has not aged well, if I'm being honest. Um, you played it. I think you played it this year too, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
That shit sucked ass.
You said it was like a 6 or a 7. You
Yeah,
did.
no, it did suck ass. It was definitely
It's
like,
very dated.
yeah, dated and very borderline. You can tell like product of its time, but also even at its time, there were games that were moving in a direction
Like
of,
the Gears
yeah,
series was much more modern than it. Yeah.
yeah. So it was okay, but I did hear that this one is way better.
Yeah, and honestly, like if you did enjoy at least the base gameplay loop of Space Marine 1, this does everything and more. I
Yeah,
think it's an incredibly well crafted game. It's a game that feels like it was made with love,
yeah,
which is I think something that's really special about it. It's even got like a classic type of like multiplayer that feels very like akin to the 360 multiplayer games that came out that time. Where if you remember how many third person shooters were coming out were trying to be like Gears and how they all
yeah,
had multiplayer modes.
yeah,
It feels very much like that. So it gives me a nice nostalgic feeling, like that warm, fuzzy, nostalgic feeling inside that I got when I played those games when I was
yeah,
16 and 15 and 17. So it's cool for that. Um, Saying that, it's not, it doesn't have incredibly deep gameplay. It's kind of like simple in the sense that the shooting feels really good, the weapons feel really good, the melee combat feels fantastic. They improved upon it in every way in the sense that you can parry. It's got a much better like evade system because the evading in the first game was awful. Like it
hmm
felt so fucking clunky. It feels smoother. It feels better to play. It looks fucking gorgeous.
yeah.
Like I gotta be honest, like this is probably the best looking game I've seen all year.
Wow.
Like when you play it and especially if you play it with headphones, you put those headphones on, you put it on, like especially on a big monitor like mine. and you put it on max settings, like it's breathtaking.
Is
Uh,
did you beat this one?
I haven't beat it. I think I'm close to beating it. I've
Because it's
played
short,
about
right? Like 12,
yeah,
12,
I've
15.
heard it's about 15 hours. I think I'm about 12 hours in, if I remember correctly.
Pretty good.
Um, so I think I'm kind of getting close to the end. I'll probably hopefully beat it the next couple of weeks here. And I've played a little bit of the multiplayer too, and that also feels pretty good. Um, but I think I enjoy it so much because it feels very akin to a Gears of War game from the 360 days.
That's
And
pretty cool, like a throwback.
yeah, and as you know, like I love that original trilogy. I think it's great. And I loved playing those games in co-op, like with you or Gian.
Yeah,
That was always a good time. But the story I think is engaging enough here. I think Titus is a good character. He's also played by Clive Stanton, who I love. He's a great actor, but also this dude's got a great voice. It's just very booming. But honestly, like it's one of those games too where I play this, I'm like, this makes me interested in Warhammer. I'd like to see more what Warhammer's about. I've always wanted to be one of those ultra fucking nerds that gets into Warhammer like Henry Cavill.
that's true. He
Um,
does love his Warhammer.
yeah, he really does. But I'm glad that he's making Warhammer series or movie now after
Yeah.
Netflix fucked him and DC fucked him.
So I'm gonna
Um,
make my own shit, bitch.
he's like, fuck you, I'll just make my own shit. But yeah, so honestly, it's a game that feels like it was made with love. It's gritty, it's brutal. It's what's so great about it, like if you watch Jake Baldino's review or his Before You Buy, what I think what he said about it that really stuck with me is that it feels like you're in an actual war.
That's
Like
pretty cool.
every level that you have, you go, it's these bugs fighting, the Marines, and it feels like a colossal, like global or universal war.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes it like so breathtaking when you go into these well-crafted levels that are very linear, but they're made well and they look great and they sound great. And I think that's what's really special about it. Um, it's a very well made game, and while it does have kind of simplistic gameplay, it's some of the most fun I've had this year, and it's definitely a contender for me.
Nice.
So
Well,
I can't I honestly can't believe it's rated that low. I thought it was rated a lot better, but I can understand the ratings in the sense that it's probably a lot of the gameplay and the story isn't like incredibly engaging.
I mean,
Um,
we're about to be on page 5. And we're still in the 80s, which is kind of
yeah,
crazy.
we should probably go to like 125 or something. See if there's anything else. Yeah,
125.
yeah, maybe.
Oh
Let's
yeah,
see.
yeah. Usually I like to. We'll probably scroll by as we after this page, but I do want to. There's some games on here. I'm surprised we haven't seen it. So let's go and see. Um,
Oh, Super Mario Party Jamboree. Number 9, making it into the top 100.
Jesus
I
Christ.
played that this year with
Um,
Amy.
I heard this was really good too. I was thinking about picking it up, but it's so expensive.
What is it?
It's Samurai Warriors for DX. But anyway, um, okay, so here it is. This is the
Oh,
one I
Veilguard.
want to
Yeah.
talk about.
Yeah.
So Dragon Age, Veilguard, I was I was excited, but at the same time apprehensive because of Inquisition, and I wasn't a huge fan of that. And as we both know, BioWare has not been the BioWare that we grew up with. So I was a little apprehensive. I started playing it. I played it some more today, so I'm about 13 hours in. Almost done with Act 1. I got right past the dragons and stuff, which was fucking epic. But the thing with this game that I've learned is I got to stop viewing it as an old Dragon Age game and more of everything they did in Mass Effect and Dragon Age. It definitely feels like a fusion where there's still the fantasy element of Dragon Age and the world looks like Dragon Age, but the mission structure is a lot more like Mass Effect 2 or 3 where you do the missions in a set stage. And at first it
It
took me
feels more linear.
yeah, and it took me a while to get used to that. Now that I'm into it and learning all the characters and getting used to them and doing their side stories, I'm really enjoying the cast, which is a nice surprise. Because Inquisition, not a huge fan of the cast, and then even Mass Effect, Andromeda, same thing. If you ask me to remember one of those casts, I can't. And I wasn't even the big hater of that game. I actually enjoyed it for what it was, but this is the best cast they've had since probably like Dragon Age 2 or Mass Effect 3 where I actually care about what's going to happen with these characters. Um I think the side missions are okay. They're basically just like every other side mission, every other game. But the main missions are really fun. Some of them are really cinematic, which is really cool. Have you got to the dragons yet? Um,
No, and I'm honestly shocked that you're already past me and I bought this game at launch.
uh,
I don't know how this continues to happen.
well, we knew dragons were coming in, but there's a decision you have to make. It's not a spoiler, which place you have to go to. One dragon goes to one village, one goes to the other, and you have to make a decision. And both of these villages are part of your companions, and you have to choose. And whoever you choose, let's say they're not too happy with the choice you make of who you're going to help.
I've heard that's one of the biggest decisions of Act One.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it has some pretty dramatic effects. So I really like that type of decision making. The graphics are pretty good, not amazing, but pretty good. What I really love is the hair. Me and you talked about it, absolutely amazing. So yeah, this is a nice surprise. At that score, I told you earlier this week, it was like going between like it's probably 7.5. I'm leaning more towards an 8 now. I'm really, really starting to enjoy myself with this cast, and the combat is growing on me. It took me a while where I thought it was pretty good. Now I'm really enjoying it, and I think it's because the enemies are becoming stronger, making me have to use all my tools, not just the same attack over and over again. So yeah, it's different, but it's working, and I think you have to give it time. If you're not one of those fucking grifter people who just follow every fucking red pill goddamn video. If you want to give a game a chance, I think this one is a kind of a grower. Like you have to let it, you know,
It's a
grow.
grower.
Yeah, you got to give it a while. And once it starts going, I think it's really fun. It has a really fun gameplay loop. I think the story is good enough. My major concerns or issues is kind of what you had, where I feel like some of the voice acting is a little eh. And the dialogue, I don't really understand where people are coming from. That's horrible. I think it's fine. It's pretty good for the most part. I'm sure I'll get to one part that people seem to have like a fucking stroke over fucking pronouns, but other than that, I have not had any issues with the dialogue. It seems standard fare of fantasy. And so yeah,
It's
I don't
very
know.
like the style feels very high fantasy,
Yeah,
but
it's
like not the writing, just like the style, like
yeah,
the art
and
style, and all that.
I think it's fine. The gameplay's good. The dialogue's good. The voice acting's okay. Some of it good, some of it not so good. But overall enjoyable. Would I say it's as good as Dragon Age Origins? No, but Origins was such a special time for BioWare. And would I say it's as good as Dragon Age 2? Yeah. I would say those are kind of the games where I think it gets a lot of criticism, both of those games, and I think that I enjoy these type of games. So anyway, I know I babbled on because I know you want to speak because you're playing it
No,
too, but I really am starting to really enjoy this game. It's a solid contender. I would say it's right now either at 5 or 6 for me.
I'm honestly really glad that we kind of agree on this because I wasn't sure if you were gonna view it as favorably as I do.
Yeah, I didn't
Um,
either.
I will say, I kind of hyped this game a lot, in the past like couple months leading up to it. And I think a lot of that had to do with stress. I usually don't hype games up that much anymore because I'm just like, as I've gotten older, I tend to not do that. But usually, if I'm going through kind of a stressful time in my life, I'll try to like kind of focus on something
Yeah,
to try to help me forget. So I did like kind of hype this up quite a bit. Um, so I will say, like playing it, um, I think that Warrior might have not been the best class choice for me, even though like I usually tend to play more builds like that in RPGs now. As I've gotten older, I kind of gravitate more towards like heavy hitting, like strength builds. Um, because like the gameplay I've seen of Rogue and Mage look fantastic and they look like a lot of fun. So, saying that though, I'm still enjoying playing as a warrior. I think the hits feel really good. I just think like the base gameplay loop um, I think it'll probably improve a little bit,
I
but
was
it
gonna say wait
feels,
till you get to like the second class.
yeah, I
Um,
know the specialization and all
yeah,
that.
because
Yeah.
that's where I'm starting to like be like, okay, I see what we're saying
Which
with the
one?
shield bash and shit. It fucking looks great.
I think I'm kind of going, I guess, for a very default type of play style in the sense that I chose Grey Warden, which is like the first I guess faction choice,
Yeah,
and I'm specking as a champion build. So
yeah,
like sword and shield.
yeah, that's what I'm doing with the sword and shield.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go
so
champion.
Yeah, which I thought just looked really cool because like you can basically like light your sword on fire, which looked pretty
Yep.
awesome. So
And your shield
it,
is like so fucking cool. The moves you get.
yeah, and yeah, so I mean like a lot of the even the specializations for all the warrior looks cool. Like I think the Reaper looks really cool and all that. And I like that you can respec all of that and try different stuff at any time. Um but I think what's really interesting about Veilguard is that getting to the fact that I think this is made by a very different BioWare.
Mhm.
But I think a lot of what I've played so far, I think you played, you said about 13 hours, which is crazy. You told me you played like 8 or 9, I think just yesterday. But
Yeah,
I don't know
I'm
where
up
you
to.
find the time. I feel like I don't find the time, and you always find the time.
I did play. I did
Um,
play about 2 hours this morning. I'm getting carried away with the side missions, which, like I said, aren't great, but they are so easy to go into because they
mhm.
track it, so you know exactly where to go. So I'm like, I'll do one of these, and I'm like, I'll do another one. And I just can't
The
stop
the
myself.
companion ones are good. I've done
The companions
Hardings.
are great. Yes, I'm talking about
Yeah.
more of like the in the area side
Oh,
missions.
like the regular ones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, those are fine. But yeah, I will say just playing this the 8 or 9 hours I played, I think about 10 hours so far. I got up to the point where you get Lucanus.
okay,
It feels like it was made with love. And
yeah,
I
I
think that's
agree.
something and I think that's something really special coming from BioWare when you look at the past two games that they've made and they've lost so much good faith.
Three
Um yeah, Andromeda, Anthem,
and Dragon
and
Age Inquisition. I say
oh, and
three
Inquisition.
of them.
A lot of people think Inquisition was on their way down, which I agree with, but there's also like an audience for Inquisition that really enjoyed it, which I don't know why. I tried playing Inquisition again before this came out, which is probably like the third or fourth time since it came out in 2014. I think that game is boring as hell.
Yeah, that's
Like
its
I
biggest issue. It's boring. It's not even a
yes,
bad game. It's a boring game.
it's boring, it's bloated. I think the combat in Dragon Age 2 is far more interesting. And I can say that as someone that just revisited all three of those games before this came out to kind of do a quality check. And saying that I still think Origins is the best out of the
Yeah,
three of those.
yeah, hands down.
Yeah, also I think Dragon Age 2 is a lot better than I remember it being.
Yeah, thank
Um,
you. I think people don't realize how good two
it's
is.
shitted on way too much.
Yeah, I agree. I
Yeah.
think two is a really cool game for one. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you.
No, no, it's fine.
One
It's fine.
reason I love two is because it isn't the end of the world. It's just in a city and dealing
Yep.
with political issues and trying to be a good leader. And I just really loved all that. So,
And
anyways,
the whole story delves into mages versus Templars, which
yeah,
I honestly think that war in the Dragon Age universe is really interesting to me. So I don't think there's
ah,
anything wrong with that.
sorry,
What's that?
that fucking dog keeps fucking barking when I'm trying to record.
Um, but yeah, I really like that part of the Dragon Age universe and lore. But anyways, yeah, I think playing Veilguard, it definitely feels like a very accessible game in the sense that it is kind of handholdy in a lot of spots in terms of puzzles.
I'm okay
Um,
with that. Honestly, I
even
never
like
give a shit about that.
yeah, which I know that's good for people like you, especially when you watch your time more. I think, but I do like that they included options for you able like to turn off like the little glint around objects that you
Yeah,
can loot, to turn off like pro tips or whatever the tips
yeah,
that just pop up randomly. I like turning all that stuff off because I like to feel a little bit more immersed.
yeah,
But saying that, it's still a challenging game. Like I've had a lot of combat sections
mm,
that I've gotten fucked up,
yeah.
and so there is still a lot of challenge to it. And the thing is, I know this game I think gets a bad rap for its art style too, which is fair in the sense of how that first trailer was shown off
Oh,
with all the different
one of the
companions.
worst first trailers.
That was a very terrible showcase of this game.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people thought like, oh, Dragon Age is a battle royale game now.
yeah. That's what it looked like.
It's a hero shooter.
Yeah,
And I actually read that apparently that's not how they want to showcase that game at all.
yeah,
That was an EA decision,
yeah,
which makes sense because EA makes fucking Apex.
yeah.
So um that's unfortunate that that was the first impression of that game for a lot of people because I think that really gave it a lot of bad reputation to start off with. But
Yeah,
saying that, I started to watch more footage of it. I think we both said the more we watched of it, the more interested it looked to us.
yeah,
And the more I watched, I'm like, yes, like I I think all three of these classes look great. This looks like a multiple playthrough type of game for me. It looks pretty, like it sounds good, like it looks like a Dragon Age game.
Yeah,
And that's the thing. It's like it looks like a Dragon Age game until you play it and you're like, oh, this actually plays more like
God of
2018
War.
God of War and
Yeah,
Ragnarok, which is not a bad thing at all
yeah,
because both those games have excellent combat systems.
yeah,
And I say that as a huge fan of both of those games. So, I could, people are probably going to say I'm glazing over it, which I'm not because it does have issues. Like some of the writing isn't like the best. Some of the animations are, hit or miss here and there in cutscenes. But, it's a game that feels like it was made with a lot of heart. And it comes from a very diverse team of individuals, that are trans, non-binary, gay, lesbian, like, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that when you have a game that's made from, different marginalized groups of people in society that they can kind of ingest, like they can kind of inject a little bit of their own experience into the world, into the dialogue and all that. Who gives a fuck if it isn't like accurate fantasy? What the fuck does that even mean?
yeah.
It's like
I
it's a
well,
fucking video game. Who cares if there's a fucking side quest about pronouns and social acceptance?
see, and
Like
that's the thing. I haven't even gotten any of that yet. Like, I don't know where this is, if it's like a secret quest I have to get to,
it
but
is
like,
it is a side quest later on or something like that
so
basically kind of goes into that.
you get one quest, which these quests are like 10 minutes. One quest, and this sets off the internet. This is my problem, and it's not just these type of people with the grifters and shit that they follow. The same thing happened with Hogwarts. Now I think Hogwarts is
Yep.
not a good game, but that not for the reasons that I saw all over online, where if you're a supporter you're a fucking transphobe and all that. That's fucking ridiculous. These are
Yep.
games, they're form of entertainment. If you don't want to buy it for that reason, that's okay, and it's also okay not to buy Dragon Age if pronouns offend you. I don't really give a fuck. But my thing is, stop listening to these fucking idiots online making these 10-hour videos for money. They're making it for profits, you stupid fucking idiots. They don't give a fuck about you. They just care about your clicks, and you are feeding into the hate machine to make them money. And then one day they'll retire and laugh at you because you fucking idiots are falling for their goddamn grift. Anyway, Dragon Age is okay. It's pretty good, actually. I don't think it's great. I don't think it's like amazing, but I think it's a really solid game. And like you said, with heart. And I wouldn't even know that that team was filled with different types of diverse background. It just feels like a fucking BioWare game. BioWare games are
Yeah.
mad fucking gay. Who gives a shit?
They always
They're
have been
fucking
gay.
gay. Little gayness. I love gayness. Anyway, let's talk about another gay game. Infinity
Um,
Icky.
what I want to say a little
Oh,
bit
okay,
more on it.
okay.
I know we stayed on a lot, but I just want to say, yeah, Veilguard, saying all of that, I love that it was made by, I'm an ally, like, uh, I love that it was made by such a diverse team of individuals with different experiences and backgrounds, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. As someone who is a supporter and ally of that community, I think it's cool to play a game that maybe has a little bit of heart from them. But saying that, forgetting all of that, it's a Bioware game, which honestly feels good to say with the last three Bioware games that have
Yeah.
come out because they have not felt like fucking Bioware games. This
BioWare
def
has sucked dick. Let's be
this
real. Not good dick, like shit dick. For like the last 15 years. Let's be real.
Yep.
If I'm gonna talk about the dumb fucking grifters, let's be real, BioWare. You have failed as I have a fucking tattoo of Mass Effect on me, and you have failed me these last few years. This is the first game where I'm like, you know what? Mass Effect, the next one might be pretty good.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
that is a nice thing to feel again, finally.
and from what I've seen online from people that don't engage with the grifting bullshit and they're like top surgery stars, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Which is, by the way, it's an option. You don't have to toggle it, by the way.
You
As well.
motherfuckers got to get laid. Like, for real. You guys got to get fucking laid. I'm fucking tired of these people. Just slap some fucking booty cheeks. I don't give a shit if you're fucking black, white, Jamaican. Fucking do something with your life. Watch
Jamaican.
these fucking dumbass videos. The fuck y'all doing with your life? Fucking sitting there on your fucking phone. Oh, yeah. Fucking trans. You fucking losers. All right, let's go. Let's keep going. I'm just losing my fucking. These fucking losers, man. I can't deal with them. They're as pathetic as these fucking Harry Potter and fucking
Yep.
protesters. You think you protested something real? It's fucking wizards. What the fuck? There ain't no realness. The bitch is already a billionaire. You think you not buying the game matters? Fuck. Oh, anyway. Okay,
Oh
so
my God. Um,
sorry,
Wrapping it
I
up.
keep going to my rants. People listen, I'm like, yo,
That
this
was,
guy's crazy.
that was pretty good. That was a true Whitey rant. I like
Yeah,
that.
I'm just tired of
Um,
it, man.
I'm tired of it too. But wrapping all of this up, I think Veilguard is one of the best games I've played this year. It's still kind of divided among fans. I know
Yeah,
some people don't enjoy it because of the changes, which is perfectly valid.
yeah, I
I
agree.
don't think there's anything wrong with that. I do think there's some issues with the writing. It doesn't have the most perfect combat system, but you know what? I personally like it, and you like it, and I think it's great, and it feels like a return to form for BioWare,
Yeah,
and I think this is a great step in the right direction. And it
agreed.
honestly makes me very excited to see what Mass Effect 4 or whatever looks like, because now I feel like BioWare has a chance to come back and actually be like one of the best developers in the industry again. Whereas
Yeah,
before, I feel like, I mean, this was it for them. Like if this fully missed everywhere,
yeah.
that would have been it. But honestly, I think this landed pretty well. It wasn't a perfect landing, but I think this was a good enough landing.
It's a
So it makes me
comeback.
excited. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a great comeback.
and that's good. That's kind of where we need it to be right now.
Hmm.
Not and if you try it out, I think you would either enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it for legitimate reasons, that's video games, guys.
Yeah.
As I talked about Horizon, with its
You don't have to
90%
fucking
rating.
play it. Don't
Yeah,
fucking play it.
don't
If you
play
don't
it.
want to play it, don't play it.
Yeah,
Instead of bitching about it for, like you said, 5 hours online, where
yeah,
your entire fucking Twitter feed is about one option in a fucking character customization, which, by the way, that character creator is pretty fucking amazing.
yeah,
Um, it's one of the best character creators I've ever seen. So, I
yeah.
mean,
It
you
was
can bitch
fun.
about it all you want, but I mean, like, it's a game that's made with heart and love, and yes, it's sold by a corporation, but the people that made it, I think, actually gave a shit about
Yeah,
what was going into it.
I
So
think they were
honestly,
fans of Dragon Age growing up.
exactly.
And so that's a big thing. So yeah, I think it's good. But I want to talk about another gay game here. Uh,
Another
Infinity
gay game. Yeah.
Nikki. I don't know if you heard of this game. Um,
I have heard of it. I haven't played it. I'm still not exactly sure what it is. Is it a
it's just
platformer?
it's yeah, it's like going around the world just chilling. Basically collecting
Very
dresses and
cute.
dressing up as this different
That's right.
dresses.
Yeah. Amy and I
Uh,
saw this when we were looking at
yeah,
trailers.
it
Yeah.
looks super cute. I heard it's really cute. And
You played it?
enjoyable. I have not, but my friend is playing and she really seems to enjoy it. So very
I'll have to check it
gay
out.
for me, but I want to try it one day. Okay. All right. Now we really got after my 25-minute rant. Let's look at some other here.
I played WWE 2K24. It's okay. I
It's
feel like I
okay.
spent too much on it.
All right. Let's talk
Just
about Dragon Ball Super
yes.
here.
Yes.
Um, Me and you played,
We did.
and we played with Gian, and we played with
Jiminy.
my friend Jimmy, and we played a lot. I would say a good amount, like 10 hours or so. I played with my daughter. My daughter had a good time. It's a really good time game. It is the other game in my list that is a disappointment. Only
Yes, I agree.
because I think they totally went to shit with like the single player and collecting aspect of the game. It doesn't. I don't have any drive to play this game other than playing with you guys, and
Like
it is a
Helldivers.
fighter, which
Yeah.
makes sense. But any other Dragon Ball game, fighter or not, I still played the single player.
Yeah,
I
I
still
agree.
had fun, and this one just lacks all that. I think it's still a good foundation. I think it's a good game. I think it's fun with friends. But after the 15 hours we played or so, I'm kind of like, I don't really have to play it right now or ever. And that's kind of a shame because I bought the fucking deluxe that comes with like
Well, we both did. Yeah.
the
Yeah,
season.
I'm honestly interested to see like new characters and all that they put out,
Yeah.
which may bring me back. But um, yeah, I will say it's not a very Steam Deck friendly game. It's a very twitchy
No.
game. This is the game you need to play like at home because
Yeah.
it's so fucking reflex based.
Yeah.
Um, I will say I think it's got a fantastic combat system, like the fucking six different types of counters it has,
Yeah.
and how you can counter counters,
Counter
which is
within the counter
fucking
to counter to
crazy. Yeah,
counter. Yeah.
like all that stuff is super cool. And so like when it came out, all the clips I was seeing online of people fighting, I'm like, this is cool as shit. This is great to see. It's really cool seeing a modern Budokai Tenkaichi game. And I think it's very well made for those reasons. It
Mhm.
feels kind of similar to Warhammer, like a game out of time that's modernized.
Yeah. It looks
So
great too.
Yeah, and it's gorgeous. It really is. It is one of the best games I've played this year for those reasons. Saying that, those episode battles were absolutely not what they were, I think, were presented as.
Yeah,
I thought this was very much going to be a complete different retelling of Dragon Ball, Z story as a whole.
yeah,
I thought it was going to be something a lot deeper than it was. It was fucking I fucking hate these like panel type of cutscenes that are like, here's a picture, here's another
yeah,
picture. There's no talking. What
yeah,
the fuck?
yeah,
Like, just like all that shit. It's like, oh look, Vegeta went Super Saiyan in like the Frieza saga. That's cool. It's not even voice acted though.
yeah.
It's
That's my
like
thing. The presentation feels
it felt
cheap.
so fucking like yeah, like it felt so half-assed.
Yeah,
It's like, especially like with Kakarot, which we both played this year as well. Not without issues, for sure. But one thing that game does well is cutscenes.
yeah.
Those
When they're
cutscenes,
fully animated,
the
oh,
fully animated cutscenes, not the sitting and talking around ones. Those fully animated cutscenes are spectacular,
yeah,
and I think that this is missing so much of that,
yeah. I
which is
agree.
incredibly disappointing because it's a gorgeous looking game. It's animated incredibly well,
Yeah,
and it plays like butter.
yeah,
But like you said, like we're both more single player gamers. You have to give us more single player options
yeah,
because how you saw how hard it was getting the four of us together.
yeah.
It's like that
Yeah.
was
I
the
think
first time
this
in fucking years. Like
it's a good fighting game, but as a Dragon Ball game, I feel like it's
it
missing that
lacks.
other half. You know,
Yeah,
I would give it probably a 7. I think it's still a good game.
that's fair. Yeah,
But I
I'd
just
probably give it an 8.
yeah, yeah. Like it would be like when I was having the most fun, definitely an 8, like with Saw. But then I
Mhm.
think about like all the options I feel are missing. It gives a 7. But overall, not a bad game. It's a good game, and that's I want to make that clear.
It's the best Dragon Ball game in years. I
Yeah,
feel
oh
like,
that yeah, by far.
without
But
doubt.
at the same time, I feel like they missed it because I was expecting this to be not one of the best Dragon Ball games in years, one of the best Dragon Ball games ever, and
Yeah,
it's
I agree.
not. I
Yep.
think Budokai 3 is better. I think Tenkaichi 3 is better. I quite a few games if I were to think about, but overall, it's still a good game, and that's
It's
good.
better
But
than
it's a disappointment.
sagas though.
Don't you fucking do that? Don't you bring it out of me? All right, we'll do one more page because we
What
haven't even got.
you don't like sagas? I
Don't you
love the
fucking
sagas.
do it. You know what you're doing. All right.
Sorry.
All right, let's
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It should have been one of the best Dragon Ball games ever made, and unfortunately, it wasn't. It's one of the best ones in recent memory, but
yeah,
yeah,
definitely in the last probably like 5 years, but not it could have been better. All right, let's talk about oh look, more controversy
Celeblade.
fucking games. My favorite. I'm not gonna get into it what you guys say and the shit. Stellar Blade, I'm just not. So let's talk.
Did you? Oh, right, and the other one too. Yeah, two or more controversy.
Yeah, I'm not. You know what? I'm not getting into Celebrate. You know why I'm not getting into it? I don't give a fuck. Okay, it did never appeal to me. And then everybody I've talked to who's played it, not people who fucking, you know what I'm saying, not those people, but they jerk off to this shit. I'm talking about like regular gamers who played it. They're all like, it's
It's
okay.
fine. It's fine.
Yeah,
I
and
played the demo. It's fine.
yeah, and that's not me. I'm not fucking spending money on it's fine. Fuck
Yeah.
that. I got limited resources here. I got a mortgage. I ain't fucking buying Stellar Blade because some fucking cute ass hentai fucking SFM you can find on X video. I don't need that shit. I'll just go on fucking X video for that. So let's talk about
Um.
Black Myth
Yeah,
because this game is different. This game actually I hear is pretty good.
it is
Um,
good. Yeah, I
which is
haven't played it really since it came out because I started playing other things, but
yeah.
from what I have played so far, it's very well made.
Yeah, I hear the controversy. The reason I'm saying controversy for this one is like people say it should be the game of the year. And
I've heard a lot of people say that.
I
Yeah.
don't know from my gameplay clips. It reminds me a lot of actually kind of the game we were talking about earlier, Ninja Blade, where a
Mhm.
lot of the coolest shit is kind of just done in the fucking game. You know, it ain't like you doing it. That's cool. I like those like God of War's finishers and stuff. But also, that's not really fucking gameplay. That's just the cinematic finisher of a fucking event in a game.
Yep.
Devil May Cry 5, whether you love it or not. Everything you're doing in that game is you doing it. There ain't no fucking cutscene. There ain't no watching Dante rip off a head or nothing like that. So with Black Myth, I hear it is good. I hear it's really solid. I hear the graphics are great. And this is the type of game I will pick up when it's $30. So
Yeah,
you played
I
it,
will say as
said it was
much as
pretty good.
yeah, I think I've played about 5 hours of it, 4 hours of it. I fell off of it because I started playing other things, like primarily Baldur's Gate 3 at this time. But from what I have played, I have enjoyed it. I think it's well made. Controversial because of the studio's like
The
the fucking
creators,
the fucking shit they put out whenever they released the game was kind of
they
like
said women
gross.
aren't real,
Yeah, they're a very conservative Chinese studio.
which is
So
so fucking funny because of the supporters of this
yeah,
game,
yeah,
and
it fits
ironically,
perfectly. Yeah.
ironic,
Um,
they don't
yeah.
ever.
So like, and honestly, that all that information came out after I bought it. I bought it on Fanatical, so I couldn't refund it, especially because I'd already redeemed it. Um, but from what I have played, like it's good. I regret kind of spending full price on it because I haven't played it really much since then. But it's definitely one I'll go back to probably in the new year. But it's made well, and the combat system feels good. I will say to kind of like maybe negate a little bit of what you said in terms of like you actually doing the cool shit. There's not a lot of cutscenes in this game that are like quick time events or anything. Like, the combat feels very much like a Souls like in the sense that the shit you're doing is the shit that you're doing. Like you're performing all of this.
Oh, I
Um
just saw that. I don't know. I saw a gameplay clip of like him fighting this boss, and half of it was like just cinematic, like him floating up in the air and then
oh
coming.
yeah, there's definitely like cutscene
Yeah.
finishers and all that for
And
sure.
they were
Yeah.
like, this should be game of the year. And I'm like, this is the same shit that happened with Spider-Man 2, where you're showing the fucking Sandman clip, which is awesome, but it's not gameplay. Like, show
Yeah.
the fucking combat if you want it to be the game of the
No,
year.
yeah, no, I think that's fair. But the combat is very good, and I think that you would like it a lot because it's similar to a Souls like, but it's much quicker. It's much quicker paced. There's actually no blocking in it. It just has evading. So
Okay.
it's
I could
definitely
get
more of
behind that.
yeah, it's definitely more of an aggressive style that's maybe more akin to something like Sekiro. So I think that you would really enjoy it. Story wise, it's got cool Chinese lore in it. It's
See,
based off of a
that's what
story.
I figured. Like, the story it's presented doesn't look interesting, but I love the lore behind
Yeah,
it.
like I love Chinese lore and all that, and arts in this art style and all that. It looks great. It had a lot of performance issues whenever it came out on PC, which is kind of surprising considering that everything I heard leading up to it, it performed pretty well. But maybe I think it's a lot of that stuff's been patched now, so it should be relatively okay. But from what I've played, I've really enjoyed. I feel like it's too big for like what the game is. Like I think it's like 125 gigs
Yeah, well, it's just because the
and it's like
fucking
a 15-hour
graphics
game.
and
Yeah,
all that shit.
but it's a cool game, and I'll definitely go back to it. I don't think it's worth full price, but I would say like 30, 40. It's worth that. But Stellar Blade is another one too that I'll probably pick up when it's 20 or $30. I played the demo for that. It's fine. I don't think it's necessarily anything exceptional. I think that Black Myth is the better. It feels like a better game.
Yeah,
But
which is so
even
funny
just
that they're the same rating.
like playing Stellar Blade, I just played the demo and like the whole design of it felt very odd because it almost felt like a game from like 2009 where there's no really real objective. Um,
Like, this is the type of shit I'm talking about. 9.2.
oh yeah, of
Nine point
course.
two. You telling me this fucking game Stellar Blade is a 9.2? What the fuck is Mass Effect 2? A 20? Like, what is that?
No, it's on par
9.2.
with Mass Effect 2.
I think it's higher.
It's
Let's see.
it's fucking
This is
people
what I'm talking
blazing,
about.
bro.
This is what I'm talking about with ratings and shit. Look at that. Look at that. Yo. Fuck this is I hate this fucking cultural war shit because it doesn't make sense. It
Yeah.
don't make sense, you fucking idiots. Like, you
You
telling me
fucking idiot.
the fucking idiots. You're telling me fucking Stella Blade, this fucking cheap SFM fucking knockoff looking bitch from the generic any fucking Japanese game is fucking better than Mass Effect 2? Is better than, well, Skyrim maybe. Better than Red Dead 2? I bet you it has a higher score than Red Dead 2. You ready? I swear to God if it does.
I don't know. Red Dead 2 is pretty highly
Oh
rated.
my
I will.
God! Yo! All right, let's do it again. Uncharted 2. One
What
of the
about Baldur's Gate?
greatest games. Uh, no, not
You're
Uncharted.
you're also looking at older
Hold on,
games.
hold on,
That's expansion pack.
hold on, hold on, hold on.
You're also looking at older games, to
I,
be fair.
I'm making a
These
whole
aren't modern
fucking.
games.
I'm making a whole video of this right now.
Can I be in the video?
No, you're gonna be in this video. I'm talking about this. This is gonna be another video within a video. Oh my god! All right, you're right. So I'm picking these fucking old games,
Baldur's
right?
Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh, yeah, okay. That's a good one because even the fucking red pillars like this shit, right?
Yeah.
Same score! Guys are a fucking joke. A joke! Stellar Blade is as good as Baldur's Gate 3? You're a joke! You gotta be
Oh
fucking
my
joking me.
god.
Give me one of the greatest games of all time right now. Last of Us. Last
Last
of
of
Us.
Us, yeah.
Here we go. Not the
That's
fucking
that's probably
remake.
how you rated it because a lot of the red pillars like Joel. So
You're okay. Here we go. 9.2. You telling me Stellar Blade is the same score as The Last of Us? You're telling
you
me
know I don't agree
Stellar
with that.
Blade. You telling me Stellar Blade? Okay. All right. Here you go. Let's go. Devil May Cry. Japanese.
5
People love. No,
or
let's
the
go
first
three
one?
because three is considered the greatest of all time. Right? Dante's Awakening, the original. You telling me Stellar Blade is better than fuck that Devil May Cry 3? Y'all are a joke.
What
Y'all are
about
a joke.
Last of Us Part 2?
I'm not even going there. You, dude, we already know that's like a fucking
4.
my
It's a
issue.
4.
My issues aside, we already know it's a 6. No, not even. Not even. Fucking okay. But let's talk about one of the greatest games of all time,
Oh my
Elden Ring.
god.
That came out
Yeah,
last year,
it is one of the best games of all time.
right? Is this the normal one?
Came
Yeah.
out 2 years ago. Yeah.
Where's
Almost
the
3 years ago now.
where
That's
is
it's
Here we go.
that
All
one.
right.
Yeah. Second
If
one.
this fucking user score is lower than Stellar Blade, I will never ever motherfucking take you fucking people serious. I'm never ever taking you people serious. Never. Never. Yo, you guys are a joke. You guys are a joke, Sekiro. Y'all a joke. You're Here we go.
Grand Theft Auto 5.
Hold on, hold on. We're gonna get to Grand Theft Auto. Yeah, that's a good one. But I want no. Where's 7, the original? Well, that's really old. Okay, Grand
I don't
Theft
know if you
Auto.
find it.
Grand Theft Auto 5. I don't even think that's the best one, but it's one of the highest rated games of all time.
It is. No.
All time,
Well, you clicked
98%.
on 4.
Oh no, I
4
don't.
4 is also really highly regarded among
Oh,
fans.
San Andreas. Come on, that's considered the best of the best. Everybody always says it's the best game ever created.
You playing with fire here.
You're telling me Stella Blade is as good as Grand Theft Auto?
We haven't found one game that's higher than it.
What game? I don't think any games is high.
No, that's what I'm saying. We haven't found one game that's higher than
Oh no,
Stellar Blade.
because you
Either
don't
lower or on
understand.
par with it.
You don't understand, Robbie. Stella Blade is perfection. One of the greatest games. Y'all a fucking joke. If y'all want to fucking see titties that bad, go find a girl with titties.
Not that every girl has titty.
No, but that's what they play Stella Blade for, because she got big fucking titties and a big fat ass. So
Is
just
her
go
ass
and
is her ass that fat? It doesn't look
bro,
that
she
fat.
catches the bullet between her fucking cheeks.
Oh, does she in the game? Really?
Yeah, the bullet goes right
Uh,
between her cheek weeks.
I feel like that people just love that game because it's a horn fest, right? Like
Yeah,
it's
well,
it's
yeah, it's definitely for the people like, and I'm not even saying it's a bad game because you know what? It could be I could play it one day and be like, yo, this is pretty solid. The fact though, you're telling me this is a 9.2. Y'all are fucking a joke. Here we go. Dragon Age Origins. One of the greatest RPGs of all time, right?
game of the year video that's been derailed.
Oh, I'm
But
gonna take
Stellar
this out. 8 point. You telling me Wu Tang here is fucking okay? No, it's not.
Wu
But
Tang.
you telling me Stellar Blade is better than the fucking Dragon Age Origin? Y'all guys are so
Oh
fucking. You
god.
guys are losers. You're losers. Go fucking work for a porn website. All right. So anyway, but
So anyway,
yeah, I can't with these fucking guys, man. I'm gonna make an uncut version of this so people can watch this. But
please, yeah.
this
We
is
should do we
just
should do a we should do a whole video about like the culture war on video games and how that's changed things.
It's so fucking pathetic, yo. Stellar Blade 9.2. Fucking better than Uncharted 2. Y'all are fucking jokes. Okay.
I don't
Uh
think it didn't come out on PC, did it? No, it just came out on PS5, I think, right?
yeah,
It'll
it's just a
probably it'll
PS5
probably come to
exclusive.
PC.
Yeah, it's a fucking piece of shit. Fantasian. I really wanted to play this game. I've heard a lot of good things. My biggest problem with this game, it's a 50 fucking dollar game for a fucking mobile game. Y'all out of your mind. So
Would you
that's a
say that every Switch game counts as a mobile game?
no. This is a literally came out mobile 2 years ago. It was an Apple exclusive.
Oh
Um,
no shit, it's an actual mobile one.
yeah, and don't get me
Oh
wrong, I want to
wow.
play it. It's by the creator of Lost Odyssey. I fucking love Lost Odyssey,
I love Lost Odyssey.
but I'm not paying $50 for a fucking mobile game. You're out of your mind. All right, let me close this fucking joke of a screen. Okay, but all right, let's finish up here because we're at like 2 hours.
Yep. I've heard Sonic is pretty good actually, surprisingly for
So this is
mobile game.
this is like kind of not DLC, but this is like the spin-off of Generations. I like
Yep.
Generation. I played it with my daughter. Really fun. So I do want to check out Shadows when it's a bit cheaper.
Yeah, I was surprised when this came out and it got such good reviews.
Yeah, I think you would like Generations. It's two-player, by the way. And
Oh cool.
yeah, Sailor and I played it, and I beat it. It was not long, like 8 hours, but really fun. So I'll probably buy this down the line. I always like Shadow, so that's cool. It's nice to see Sonic games not sucking. So
Yeah, like
that,
honestly, I've honestly fucking hated Sonic games forever
yeah.
because I feel like I haven't played a good one since Dreamcast.
Yeah, it's been a fucking minute, that's for sure.
Atrocious.
Um, okay, I don't know anything. All right, one more page. One
All
more
right, we'll do
page.
one more.
All right, and then that's it.
Kunitsu Gama,
Oh,
whatever.
yeah,
I thought it was pretty good. I want to check that out.
yeah, so do I. I've heard a lot of good things, and I'm a big strategy fan, so I do want to play.
This is a strategy game. It's a
Yeah,
third person action game.
it's like an action game, but you have to use strategy within the level, like to beat them. Like you have like people and shit. It's kind of an
Really? Oh.
RTS with action. Yeah, I was
Really? I thought it was just an action game. Oh, weird.
Here it is. It's an action game that hides behind the tower defense genre. I'm
Oh,
a big
cool.
tower
Okay.
defense fan, so I think that's cool. Like a really cool combo.
Yeah, I was honestly skeptical about this one until it came out and it got great reviews. So I'm
Yeah,
definitely gonna
me
check it
too.
out
I'm
whenever
telling
it
you,
goes
man,
on sale.
Capcom is absolutely. If we're gonna,
They've been great.
we
They've been
got
one
to
of the
do
best
a ranking.
publishers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they are killing it this last like 5 years. They have absolutely been the top of their game. This actually, I'm gonna say it, and some people might just. They are the best they've ever been, and ever.
I agree. Yeah.
They are. Every game they release is
Since
good.
Monster Hunter World,
Yeah,
they've really been
World
bringing them
and
out.
Resident
Yeah.
Evil 7 set them straight. Like
Yep.
they were like, "Oh, we're gonna make quality games. You ready? Here's
Because
the
they were
like,
low. They were down low for a long time. With Street
yeah,
Fighter Five,
oh,
like was not
Lost
received
Planet
well.
3.
Lost Planet 3, Resident Evil 6.
Yeah, they
They
went down.
were struggling for a while.
Yeah, so if Capcom could do it, maybe BioWare can because the fact that they came back not only strong, they came back stronger than ever, creating some of the best games I played in the last 10 years. I
Yep.
think Capcom is probably my favorite company right now, if I'm going to be honest, because them, Atlus, Falcom, these are my
I
top companies.
I think where they have an advantage too is all of their stuff is self-published.
Yes.
And I think that really matters in today's age because, I mean, look at how many games get delayed and how they still come out broken and all that. And a lot of that has to do with poor communication between developers and publishers.
Yeah.
Whereas I think Capcom, the reason why they keep bringing out banger after banger is they have such good communications, probably within their publishing and development teams,
Yeah.
because everything's internal. So I think that just allows them to like bring out like such high quality shit like at such a high rate.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
um, I agree
Yeah,
with
so
you.
that's definitely on my list, and I definitely want to try Grand Blue because I know you told me you really liked that.
I
Did you fall off of
did,
it?
but then I got bored about 10 hours in.
Really?
This is
Oh,
another disappointment for me. This is probably my biggest disappointment because the ratings came out really high, and I have to
they
disagree.
did, yeah.
I would give this like a 6.5.
Oh wow, that low. You were
Yeah.
really on it when it came out. You're like, this is so great. You should get it. We should play
Yeah,
co-op. I was
first
like,
six
oh,
hours great, and then started diving down like, yo, this story's fucking shit. And then the gameplay loop was cool, except you don't when you beat people when you play them with online and get new stuff, you don't get new armor. You just get new fucking coins and like stat boosts. I don't want to play that. I want Monster Hunter where like you collect shit and then get new armor and weapons. So yeah, this was a disappointment. Haven't played Wise X yet, but I heard a lot of good things. And uh
I want to try The Land Beneath Us. Go back up. That's a
you see that? Oh,
and
that's
last Epoch I heard was pretty good too.
yeah.
That's another ARPG. I definitely want to try those two when I get the chance.
I don't know what
What's
this is.
that? Oh, Dawn Trail. We haven't played that.
What's wrong? Oh yeah, I know, dude. We're like fucking three expansions
We
behind.
are.
It's pretty bad, but yeah, I've heard good things. I heard it was the weakest expansion of them all, but you know what? It's a start of a new cycle because this is like the first of the new series. So it makes sense that this would be probably the weakest. And then I think that's it. I don't think I played anything else here.
Um,
I'm
no,
just
I
gonna
don't
scroll
think I
real
played anything
fast
else either.
here. I heard a lot of good things about Romance Saga. I want to
I
try that
did get
eventually.
2K25. I've played about 9 hours of it. I'm gonna be honest with you.
It's
I don't
garbage.
think I don't. It's not garbage, but I don't think I'm ever buying another 2K game again. I don't think I care about basketball that much anymore. Like from what I play, like it's a much better 2K game than it's been the last 2 years. But saying that is like the bar so fucking low at this point that it's like, but I don't think I have much interest anymore. It's just I don't really like playing basketball games that much anymore.
Yeah, I don't blame you. It didn't look that great.
It was always like that podcast game for me to turn off my brain to, but now it's like I'd rather spend my time playing other things. Nobody Wants to Die, I've heard is great. I've had it downloaded on my PC since it came out. I've heard a lot of good things about it. So I definitely want to check it out. It looks gorgeous too.
Huh, I'll have to check that out. So yeah, okay.
It's a
So
mystery game.
what is your game of the year? I already have mine, but I would love to hear your game of the year now that we've went through like 200 games.
Am I going first?
Yeah, you go first.
Um, let's see. Hi, Amy. Amy came out because she heard me talking about 2K. So I was just telling him that I don't think I'm gonna buy it ever again. No, I'm serious. I think I'm done playing basketball games. Yeah.
No, you told me that this year before that came out. So I'm not gonna buy this one.
No, I really, but I put about 9 hours into it, and I've enjoyed it for what it is. It is definitely like the best 2K I've played in like 3 years. But I don't think I care that much about basketball anymore. I'm also not that invested into it. Like I don't know like all the players and coaches and whatnot anymore. But anyways, um, getting into my pick for this year. Um, so on my list, I actually added Shadow of the Earth Tree.
Yeah, do it.
I have Balatro, Shadow of the Earth Tree, Helldivers 2, Warhammer, Veilguard, and Sparking Zero. Which this kind of like falls in line, I feel like, with I feel like with the exception of maybe Shadow of the Earth Tree, I feel like all these games I haven't played enough of this year that I've probably put the most into Helldivers 2. I think I put about 20 hours into that.
Yeah.
Sparking Zero probably a little over 10 hours. Veilguard about 10 hours. Warhammer I think about 10 hours. Shadow of the Earth Tree like over 30. Balatro I think I'm over 15 now. But anyways, Balatro is definitely a nice surprise. I honestly didn't start playing it until after all the awards that I heard it won at the Game of the Year awards. I heard about it whenever it came out. You know, my internet daddy Jeff Gersman, he talked about it in his podcast, and I added it to my Steam wish list, and I was like, oh, I'll check that out when it goes on sale. I picked it up for like $10 on Steam about a month ago, and honestly, it's had me hooked. I have it on my phone too. It's just a great game that you can play in even 5 to 10 minute spurts. Because the good thing is you can pause the run and come back to it whenever you want. I feel like I didn't even explain all of its depth and tools. And when I was talking about it earlier, because it really is like a great deep game for any fans of poker, which me, I love poker. So if you love poker, definitely check it out. It's got great music too, and it's got a great art style. it's fantastic. It's even got like the CRT setting, which I don't know exactly what that means, but it basically sets it up to look like an old game on like an 80s TV with like the lines and all that. It just looks super cool. It's really aesthetically pleasing. And it's got just a great throwback look to it. So I recommend it for any fans of card games. I think it's fantastic. Um, Helldivers 2, I had a lot of fun with this year as well. Playing with you, playing with Gion. I think it's, I pretty much already said everything I need to say about it earlier. I think it's incredibly well made. Arrowhead has continued to support it, um, and I think that it's one of those games that feels out of time for this year, which makes me feel like kind of warm inside because again, people love this game, but we've played games like this before, and I
Yeah,
think that's why it's special. But I think it is also overrated. I don't think it's extremely overrated because I do think it's incredibly well made, but I do think it's overrated for the reasons that you were saying, is that like we've seen something like this before.
yeah,
But to see like modern gamers that are, maybe 10 years younger than us playing something like this when they've never played anything like it before, I
yeah.
think
That
that's
is
cool.
cool. Yeah,
And I think bringing this type of genre to new players, I think is a great thing. So I don't see anything wrong with that. So it's great for those reasons, and
yeah,
it feels good to play. Sparking Zero, again, probably my biggest disappointment of the year. I thought this was going to be a lot better than it
yeah.
was because I expected a lot more single player content from it. The episode battles are incredibly lackluster to me. I expected so much more from them.
Yeah.
I really wanted it to be something more than it was. Gameplay wise, it's fantastic. It plays so well. It's so smooth. It plays great on PC. It's optimized well. I think I'd had a couple crashes here and there, but nothing major. But it's fantastic. I love it, and it's the best. It's definitely better than Kakarot. That's for sure. Because I mean, Kakarot becomes a snooze fest after a while, and that I think a lot has a lot to do with its gameplay. But this gameplay
But you
is
also played
100.
it for like fucking 50 hours.
I did, yeah, and I tried playing through all the DLC and I couldn't.
Yeah,
But anyways, I also got it all for like $20, so it wasn't that big of a loss. And I put like over 50 hours into it, so
that
I
you
got my
did.
money worth. But you know what? If you're a fan of Dragon Ball Z, and you have more friends than say we do to play with,
Yeah, it's definitely a
uh,
fun fighting game. I'll say
it's
that.
a great fighting game. It's a great fighting game to play on a Saturday with your friends. I mean, we did what, like 50 matches in like
Yeah,
3 hours?
yeah,
That's another thing that's great about something like Sparking Zero or Street Fighter.
very fast.
Yeah, the matches are incredibly quick. Like they're over within usually 5 minutes, which is
Yeah,
great. So I definitely think I think it's worth playing. Like I would say it's a $40-$50 game.
yeah,
If you have the friends to play with, but if you don't have anyone to play with and you just want to play online, do not buy it for single player stuff though.
yeah. No,
Definitely not. Dragon Age Veilguard, I think is a great return to form for Dragon Age. I thought that this was going to be my game of the year. It's not because I think that it does suffer in some areas that I didn't think it would. I think that the writing, I understand the issues with the writing in the sense that people say it's not very fantasy focused. It
yeah.
feels like modern
Definitely
speaking.
more modernized, which is okay with me
Yeah.
because I fucking hate fantasy talk.
Yeah,
Lord of
which
the
is
Rings
fine.
fucking fantasy talking shit.
Well, see, I don't mind that stuff too much because even like in Dragon Age Origins, I feel like that it was more akin to that,
Yeah,
which is fine. This is fine too. I don't think it's bad. But I definitely like that more like Lord of the Rings, like
yeah.
Dragon Age Origins type of dialogue for a fantasy game like this.
Where
But
the fuck
again,
am I wearing this?
it's voice acted really well. It looks great. I think it plays great. I think the characters are interesting and engaging. It runs great on PC, which is also a plus. And like I said, I feel like it was made with love, and that's really cool to see from BioWare. I mean, this is a studio that, God, fucking struggled for so long.
Years.
They were once regarded as to me the best developer in gaming history once,
Yep,
and I mean and I still feel like Mass Effect is my favorite trilogy of all time,
I
in
agree. Yeah,
gaming. Like I don't think there's any better trilogy in gaming. Um, when you look at impact, but saying that, I didn't think it was going to come down to these two, but it has because I was thinking this morning, what would be my game of the year this year? I'm not sure. I think let me go to the video and then I'll see. But it honestly comes down to Shadow of the Earth Tree and Warhammer. And I didn't think Shadow of the Earth Tree was going to be a contender.
Yeah, but
But
you played the shit out of that.
yeah, but when I look at how many hours I've put into it, and seeing it here at number one on the list and how it is, probably won Game of the Year awards for other sites, and it was nominated for Game of the Year at the Game Awards. And just the sheer length of it, I think it has every right to be there. Um, I mean, that game, it's such a well crafted piece of content especially when you look at the amount of content that's in it.
Yeah,
And for someone that like absolutely glazes over Elden Ring and loves Elden Ring and everything about it, um, getting more of it just felt like such a treat because I think they didn't plan any content. They didn't have any plans, and all of a sudden this was announced and that they were doing something. And I was so happy to hear that. And I also just love Elden Ring lores in general.
yeah,
Even though they don't have like the most well crafted stories in terms of like a very like tight knit, well told story. It's all lore based, but I love it for that. And I put a lot of hours into it, and I really enjoyed the hell out of it. But if I'm being honest, I think my game of the year is Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2. And
fucking dark horse.
yep, it definitely was a dark horse. And I was thinking this morning, I'm like, I feel like it deserves to be in contention for me, but I wasn't quite sure. But after looking at the list and everything and kind of pondering on like what is the best standalone experience I've had this year, um, I have to give it to Warhammer. And I think a lot of that has to do with its nostalgic nature. Um, there's a guy I follow on Instagram. He's this great guy. If you've never heard of him, it's 8-bit closed fist or something like that. He has a lot of good gaming content, and he said a lot of his followers told him to check it out because it was great and whatever. He thought it was boring, and he couldn't really get into it. And he's older like us, so he played Gears of War when they came out and whatnot. And I think that's perfectly fine. I think there's going to be that audience that maybe can't get into it because they might not have that type of connection to older like third person shooters of
Yeah,
the 2010s that maybe I did.
yeah,
But playing this felt very akin to playing an old Gears of War game, to uh having those same feelings of like, the locusts like destroying the fucking cog and all that. And
yeah,
um and I think what's so great about it is like I said, the scale of it is terrific.
yeah.
And it's fucking gorgeous. Like you'll see it if you ever pick it up.
Mhm.
It's a gorgeous game.
Yeah, I
Like
definitely will pick it up when it's like $30 because I am interested. The co-op feature is really what's
I'll
selling.
definitely play co-op with you. It's fun as fuck.
That's what I
Like
hear, and that's what I would pick it up for, basically.
and you know what? For a $60 game, it's got so much content. It's got a great single player campaign. It's got multiplayer. It's got a co-op mode. It has a horde mode coming. Like it feels like a classic third person shooter
Yeah,
from Gen
Gears of
7 in
War.
terms of its content.
Yeah,
And I think that's what's so special about it. And it's brutal as all hell. And that's what I love about it. Is like some of those finishers are just like they don't fucking like get tiring at all
yeah,
because they feel brutal, they look good, and everything just works and it clicks. And I can't wait to play with you or Gian if one of you get it because like man, I've had a lot of fun just playing it by myself, but I would definitely highly recommend it. And for that, I think that it's definitely my game of the year, and it inspires me to maybe search into Warhammer lore a little bit more and pick up Rogue Trader when it goes on sale again.
there we go. Well, so yours definitely surprised me. I did not think Space Marine 2 would be the one.
What's
Uh,
really funny is I probably chose like, despite the fucking shirt I'm wearing, I probably chose the most fucking machismo game.
yeah, but with games, I think the thing is, and this is why it's going to be hard for me to choose, is because you have
Yep.
to look at it based on the factual, like what they really did, but also your
Mm.
enjoyment level.
Yeah,
Enjoyment is a huge
absolutely.
factor. And, a lot of the games we talked about on this list, I've enjoyed. A lot of them I haven't gotten to play yet that I think I would enjoy. A
Yep.
few disappointments, like we talked about, but overall, I think it's a really solid year. My top
Absolutely.
three are, Metaphor, Yakuza Infinite Wealth, and Daybreak are the three that really when I finished them, I was like, damn.
All JRPGs.
Yeah, and they're all RPGs. And it's so funny because they're all great for different reasons. Metaphor, I think the style and the overall world is really great and interesting. Yakuza has the fucking cheesiest fun thing I can have. The melodramatic stuff is all great. The comedy's great, and the class system I really love in that game. That's probably one of the biggest selling points for me is switching different classes and they all being fun. And unlike Seven, where I thought it was cool that they had that, you really know what character should be what class. And in Infinite Wealth, a lot of the characters have specific classes only for them, but multiple ones that work. And that's really cool. So you can really actually switch around. And for certain enemies, each one is different and usable. So I love the class system. And then Daybreak, the characters are absolutely some of the best I played all year. I love this cast. I love this crew. It made me laugh. It made me almost cry. It made me sad. It made me want to kill motherfucker with the villain. So overall, they're all great for different reasons. But there's one of the games that really, after I finished, I was like, I cannot wait for more, and that is Stellar Blade. There's nothing like Stellar Blade being a 9.2, better than Uncharted fucking 2. Unfucking real. I'm still not over that. Um, okay, no. My game of the year is going to be drum roll.
I already know what it is because like it's the only one you haven't mentioned.
What is it?
Unless you're fucking with me.
What is it?
I think it's Infinite Wealth because that's the only one you haven't mentioned out of those three.
Yeah, I said Infinite Well.
Yeah, no, but you were talking about Metaphor first, and then you talked about Daybreak, but then you didn't mention Infinite Wealth. So.
No, with Infinite Wealth, that's what I was talking about with the class system. I really love the class system in that.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Metaphor.
No. Infinite Wealth, you could switch classes, which is not only fucking awesome, and they have all different attacks, but the appearance changes every time you switch.
I thought you were talking about the archetypes or whatever in
Oh, and Metaphor. Yeah, I
Metaphor.
do like that too. I think that's really cool. Very cool, different like combos you can do with everybody.
Yeah, but
Um,
Metaphor is your game of the year.
nope. Trails to Daybreak is going to be my game of the year.
The
Um,
way you set that up, it fucking sounded like it was gonna be that.
I will be perfectly honest. All these games are a 9, all of them. So
Okay.
it's very very hard for me to decide which one. But like I told you earlier, and where I think why you pick Space Marine is what do you feel the most when you play? And loved Metaphor, loved Infinite Wealth, but Daybreak made me smile every time I turned it on. I turned it on and I was ready to be immersed in this world again. And not every game can do that. And I
Yeah.
think that's really something special. And so Trails of Daybreak being the fucking, I think, 11th game in this fucking entry to be one of my favorites, my second favorite in the whole series, but one of my favorite games and RPGs in a long time, and my favorite RPG this year, with a ton of fucking RPGs this year, is
Ton
I
of
think a
them.
testament because it's definitely the worst graphics of this list by far and the lowest budget by far. But at the same time, it has the heart that I just could not stop playing. I could not get enough of this crew, and I really loved it. So on a technical level, Rebirth, Metaphor, Infinite Wealth, these are all games that are tremendously better in terms of graphics and overall look and presentation. But Daybreak did something special for me. It somehow made me enjoy it just a tad bit more than all these games with a much higher budget. And that to me is something special. So I think it deserves the game of the year because I don't know if there'll ever be another Trails game to hit game of the year for me. So it's really nice to see a game to do that. And then a year this stacked for Japanese RPGs.
That's good to hear because I remember after you beat it, you told me that you thought it was your game of the year. So, I
Yeah.
mean, for me, who has never played any Trails game,
Yeah.
that's super cool to hear because I think for me, like my pick, like how many other people chose Warhammer Space Marine 2 for their game of the year? You
Yeah,
know,
I
I
don't
mean,
think either of our choices are going to be the majority pick, which I think is
mhm.
fine. I think this is a pretty
Yeah,
good
absolutely.
year.
Yeah,
And
no, I think it was pretty solid. I think
yeah,
next year though, oof,
next year will be, especially if you have
fucking
Grand Theft
bangers.
Auto come out, it will be a game that will dominate a lot, I assume. But you
Industry
have
defining. Yeah.
quite possibly the greatest game coming out the entire generation with
Couple
Wilds.
weeks after my birthday.
Yeah, I mean, I am very much excited for a game like that because this is I loved the demo. I only
I
played
did
it
too.
once because I
Yep.
didn't want to get like so invested because I want to play it when it comes out.
I played it
But
twice. Yeah, I played it on PS5 and I played it on PC.
it's so good. I am
It's great.
honestly so excited. But that's another video for another time for talking about games coming out. But
Most
Daybreak,
anticipated. We're gonna do that. Maybe we'll do that on Tuesday when I get home from
yeah,
work. 'Cause I
definitely
have a
want
half
to do a
day.
most anticipated now. Now that we've talked about all these games that were great next year, it looks like already a solid lineup. But yeah, so yours is Space Marine 2. Mine is Daybreak. I think these are two games that probably not a lot of people will put, but I think some people
Yeah.
out there will agree only because these are games that are meaningful to certain people. Space Marine being, like you said, a throwback, Daybreak being a fresh spin on a series that has gone on a long time. So I'm very excited to see if you guys agree or if these guys, either of these games are even on your top 10. That would be interesting. But of course, I'd love to also hear people's favorite game of the year or top three if you can choose one because I know it's tough. Maybe there is a fucking Tekken 8 fan out there. Who knows? Maybe Tekken
Yeah, I
8's
mean,
game
in
of the
all
year.
seriousness, I heard Tekken's pretty good, but I mean,
Yeah,
also like when I think about fighting games, especially with the disappointment with Mortal Kombat 1, like really the best fighting game I've played in years is Street Fighter 6. That's because of the times I've had with it with
I have
Amy.
heard it's amazing. Street Fighter
Yeah.
6.
It is
Um,
fantastic.
but that's it. That's it. Now there's this 3.5 hour video you watched. Thank you so much.
Was it
If
three
you
and a half hours? Or two
Yeah,
and a half? No, it was two and a
well,
half.
because I have 30 minutes on the other one. So if
Oh yeah.
if you enjoyed this, please hit the like button. If you love it, hit the subscribe button. If you loved my rant and you want more of how I make fun of fucking people putting Stella Blade higher than some of the greatest games of all time, let me know and I'll make many more videos of that because that's a
You just
fucking joke.
you should
Y'all are
keep that part.
jokes.
You should keep that in this video,
I'm
but
keeping
also
it in
post a
here. I'm
separate
keeping it.
video.
Listen, I'm not one to get into these political fucking wars and shit. I don't usually give a shit. But you telling me Stella Blade is better than Uncharted 2, Mass Effect 2, Dragon Age Origins, Red Dead 2? You gotta be sucking the biggest fat white elephant dick I've ever seen on these grifters because Jesus, they're making you look like motherfucking idiots. All right. Anyway, y'all have a good day. Go play some games because that's what we're here for. We're playing games.
Yeah, it's about fucking video games.
Go enjoy. If you don't
No
want to play
culture
it, go.
wars.
Yeah, fuck these stupid grifting bitches. Go play games you like, and if you don't like them, well, I don't know what to fucking tell you. Do something with your life. I don't know.